Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day number 3 of the 2025 Rock the Summit, presented by the Founders Region of the Porsche Club of America, PCA Potomac. I'm Greg Ginsberg, along with Brian Donati. And Brian, this is a day that I've been looking forward to for 3 days coming now. It is Endurance Day here at the Point, and we've got 2 great 90-minute Enduros coming up on the schedule here to wrap up the 2025 version of Rock the Summit here at Summit Point.
Yeah, I tell you what, Greg, this is the day that we've been talking about really the last couple of days. Just as you said, this is going to be a huge group for this Enduro to go 90 minutes. Throw out the sprint races that you each went 30 minutes for each race. Now you're going to go 90. You're going to combine all 3 of those sprint races. For most of this group here that was in the silver group, they went 90 minutes over 2 days. They're going to go 90 minutes here in one day. And this
in one shot.
In one shot. This is a very large group here. You can see on board here with Eugene Basha. Had a great conversation with Eugene, Jason Nikic, and Nate DeSantos this morning.
All the 911 Cup guys, yeah.
Yeah, all of them. Just kind of going back and forth. We'll get to that as we get rolling through here. But a great conversation. But you can see cars here, Greg, they're still just trying to catch up to the back of the field.
Well, luckily for them, it's a pace lap, and more importantly, Brian, they got 90 minutes to do that.
Correct.
So tell you what, let's run down. Again, fairly large group. I believe we've got somewhere along the lines of 35 entries or thereabouts that are out on track. I'm going to give you, we'll start off with like the top 10, and we've got a lot of time to fill people in. So we'll start off here. This is what is known as the Endurance Group, and starting on pole today, got a very nice email this morning from him, Franklin Prey in the J-Class 2010 911. That's the 777 car, the black with the I think the orange stripes there at the front. Waleed Shahadi in his spec Cayman will start alongside him. He's in a 2006 Cayman. Then we got on the inside of row number 2 in the number 320 SP3 class Porsche 944. That's a 1991 chassis. Greg Rochik with Ryan McGrath driving his H-Class 2008 Porsche 911. That is the gray machine. He will start 4th as they come to the line, Brian, and we'll let them take the green. We'll run down some of the other starters here as well in just a moment as green flag is in the air, and we're racing once again here at Summit Point Raceway. So starting 5th, Ken Agna in his SP3 class Porsche 944 S2 with Jason Nikic in a 1984 911. You just mentioned him, Brian. He's your 911 Cup pole sitter today. He starts 6th. Del Ray will start 2nd in 911 Cup. He's driving the 521 machine. That is a 1979 911 SC. That's the blue, very light blue, kind of I would call it almost like a silverish color. Donald Anger in the white number 50 1987 911 also runs in 911 Cup. He starts 8th. Dominic Belvedere, our 2nd spec Cayman driver in the silver 2006 Cayman S. He's in the 556 car. Paul Amico in his GT4 class, 1971 911. He starts 10th. Eugene Basha in 911 Cup, the formerly pink, still pink, but formerly a pig. He will start 11th today. He's in the 23 machine, as you mentioned, Brian, and we've got the onboard camera from him for the endurance race. Terrence Judge starting 12th. He's in the 159 H-Class 964. That's a 1990 Porsche 911 as we go back on board with Eugene Basha as he comes under the bridge into the final corner, and his camera freezes at the same place it's frozen all weekend long. Dwayne Moses starting 13th. He's in the 641 1982 911 SC. He's also in the 911 Cup, as is Alex Farragut. She's in the light green 229 1984 chassis machine. She's also in 911 Cup. And we'll talk about some more of the starters here as time goes on, Brian.
Yeah, no, Greg, you can see some of these drivers here just trying to feel their way out around in this racetrack. Again, this is a long 90-minute race here, but then you get some of those, again, different strategy plans. Some really trying to get back up to the front as quickly as possible to try to lead that group. We've got 11 different groups in this Enduro. So you want to talk about multi-class racing? That's exactly what we have here. There you go. You can see Alex Farragut now. She's getting ahead of Donald Enger going down into turn number 5 here early on, but again, different strategies for different drivers and different groups. Some trying to get out front early, trying to lead that group. Some just trying to hang back, take care of what they have from a tire perspective all the way through there. You know as well as I do, Greg, and we've talked about this all day yesterday, even though they only went 30 minutes per group yesterday, basically now this track is starting to get kind of not really wore out since the repave that we did several years ago. We're this will chew up some tires a little bit, so you really have to take it because tire degradation is really going to cause a problem.
Indeed. And so let's give a couple ground rules for this endurance race, Brian, because most of these cars, well, they may be able to make it all the way on fuel the entire 90 minutes. There are some requirements. We know a number of teams will probably be swapping drivers, but each team is required, or each car is required to take a 5-minute pit stop over the course of this 90-minute period. They cannot start taking those mandatory pit stops until we get past the 15-minute mark of this race. And those pit stops have to be taken under they have to be started under green flag conditions, so there's no getting. You may get saved by a full course caution, Brian, but you will have already had to have been in the pits taking your 5-minute pit stop when that full course caution comes out.
Yep, no, absolutely, yeah. You got to be there on that pit road in order for that to be started. And as you said, Greg, it's that 5 minutes. That 5 minutes here is a very, very long time. You're looking at about 2.5, almost 3 laps. Based off times that we've seen in that 120 mark, maybe even 3.5 laps. So again, your strategy is really going to come into play as this race, goes on later and later in that 90 minutes.
Yeah, indeed, and it's very important that that you hit that 5-minute mark because if you don't, Brian, what's going to happen is you're going to get a black flag and you're going to have a stop and hold on the pit lane. You'll have to essentially complete your 5 minutes, but just that extra run down the pit lane is going to add considerable penalty to you because the pit lane speed is only 35 miles an hour, and that's a heck of a lot slower than the folks blasting down the front straight at probably 120.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, we go on board here with Eugene Bosch again. Had that great conversation this morning with Eugene, and his camera will cut out when we get to at least turn 8 down into turn 10. It happens here all the time. But you can see Eugene, a lot of hand movement right now early on, still trying to get some really good heat in those tires and take care of it. And you referenced the paint scheme, as the pink pig, kind of the pink car laid out kind of in the cuts of the pig. Well, I actually found out this morning that Jason Nikic was pretty big instrumental in getting that laid out there. Those are actually racetracks throughout to make that look that. So it is the layout on the car is actually racetracks in different areas of that to make it look like it is the cutouts of pork, basically.
Yeah, and so this goes back, obviously long history with Porsche, but versions of the Porsche 962 back in the early 70s, running Le Mans, running in Can-Am, of course, having a version of essentially the different cuts of swine on the car. And there have been numerous club racers over the years that have we'll say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, Brian. And so now, and obviously not close enough for our cameras to pick up, but they've gone and customized that livery, and I guess the wonders of what you can do with vinyl nowadays. The cars aren't just painted.
Right.
Yeah. A lot easier. So hopefully Summit Point is on there. We'll try and pick that out if he shows us the correct side of the car.
Summit Point is on there. Summit Point's on there. New Jersey's on there. I believe the roof, he said, is Sebring layout. So as it goes through there, so they've got a numerous racetracks on that
neat.
paint scheme, on that livery. And I was also talking to Jason, and I said, give me a little bit more background on your car, because you seem to not have the speed once you get past the start-finish line. His thing is it's all about aero. So he has the wider body of these, and so he has a lot of aerodynamic challenges, as he liked to say there. So he understands that, but it's pretty much, again, this class here is like he said, one of the best classes, because it is all about the driver at the end of the day.
Right.
And so that's what makes this group, as they go through the weekend, that's what makes that great racing.
Oh, wonderful. All right, so we're early on. Again, this is a 90-minute endurance race, so we've got quite a lot of time. And Brian got some information this morning from Connor Henderson, who we saw driving yesterday in his beautiful Porsche 968, which we have now also determined that it is a portion of it is liveried as an Ohio State football helmet. I'll have to check in how they did last night. Connor also is the club racing business manager for Porsche Club of America, and he typically shares a car with his father Chip during endurance races, with Chip racing in the SP3 class in the 1986 Porsche 968, and this is his father. This is Chip's 100th PCA race today. Chip typically just runs the Enduros. He doesn't run the sprint races. And there he is, right there in Connor's car, and in that gray with white and red stripe down the center line. And congratulations to him on reaching number 100.
That paint scheme also part of Chip was a former military helicopter pilot, so that's kind of based off of that as well. In there, so good to see him out. I had a good conversation with him. If you weren't around last night when the auctions kind of ended down there for that Aaron Levitas Foundation, I'll tell you what, first thing Chip did when he came up to me, he said, "So what are you bidding on this year?" And I said, "I'm not going to tell you because you and I spent a lot more money than we wanted to last year."
That's right.
Even though it was for a great cause, we went back and forth during dinner. Of bidding, sitting right next to each other. So
you all spent a lot of money last year.
We did. So, but again, well worth the cause. It was fun. It was a good time, and he didn't really get to bid on two things, but I was able to win one thing this year. So that actually worked out kind of nice.
Wow. So what did you get me?
So I ended up getting the Porsche design hat that they had. I really kind of wanted that. It's going to go in my office. Going to sit up there. As I'm redesigning my entire office. So.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Going to add that to the collection. So yeah, we didn't go back and forth bidding as we did last year, but that's the first thing Chip said to me. "What are you bidding on?" I said, "I'm not telling you because I don't want you to outbid me again." Because he showed me the picture of what he won last year,
right,
and how he set it up in his office in his house.
So Brian, I don't know if. And maybe this is something Jordan can do. Maybe Jordan can try and give us the in-car for Eugene Basha, because I'm showing Basha now having dropped all the way to the back of the 911 Cup class, and I thought
that's
that
the reason
he may
why,
have
because he is
pulled
sitting
his car
on the pit
in.
road. So that would be the reason why Eugene has dropped back. If maybe we can get Eugene, if maybe he can come up and he can tell us.
Yeah, exactly what happened, and and again, the pit stops aren't supposed to start until 15 minutes into the race. So I think there's something else going on with that car right now. He had some issues during qualifying on Friday, and ended up bringing. We had two sprint races yesterday for 911 Cup, and he ended up in the morning race pitting in after 2 laps with a mechanical issue. So even though we made it through the entire afternoon sprint race, might be something that's started to rear its head. Hey, wanted to watch a great battle, and this is actually coming now through turn 10 and going on to the front straight, Brian. And this is the battle in the G class, where we've got Jordan Simon, David Nissenbaum, very close. Simon in that red and silver number 54 machine coming through turn 1 now, and he's got Nissenbaum directly behind him. Simon out of the Hudson Valley region of the Porsche Club America 8th year racing. He was, I think we talked about this yesterday, he was the 2019 and 2022 F-Stock National Champion in Porsche Club of America. Took second place in 23, and last year was a third place winner. He's holding off Nissenbaum at the moment, and good to see that car out. I know, if I remember correctly, he found his way to the he finished his race yesterday watching about 10 laps from the grass outside of turn 2.
Yeah, he watched the battle between Nissenbaum and Clemens yesterday afternoon. So,
yeah.
You've got Nissenbaum now putting pressure on Jordan Simon as well again early on, right there behind him. And right behind them, you have Robbie Wilson in that 029 in that Spec Boxster class.
Yeah, so Simon pulled the car off with a mechanical issue yesterday. Did a lot of work on the car last night and got it back out. And good to see that he's back up to speed. Unfortunately, James Clemens, he's about 10 seconds back from this fight for the lead. But again, early days, and we'll see. There's a lot of time to be had in these pit stops as well. So we'll see. He may be able to pull in a little bit closer. But great fight so far here early on in this Orange Group Enduro.
Yeah, no, really good. Like you said, Clemens a little bit further back, just now coming out of turn 2, heading up into turn 3. Just actually went by David Rubel in that Spec Boxster, in that 771, that blue and the white one. Just now topping the hill. Should be the next couple cars coming down the hill right there. There you go. There is Clemens, and there is David Rubel. So those two were having a pretty good battle going down into one, and Clemens able to get by him. So look for Clemens to start to make a move, hopefully to start to run down the top 2 cars there of Simon and Nissenbaum.
All right, let's see another race I want to pick up if we can, and this has been this got very close yesterday. The battle of the Porsche 944s. Ken Agana in that Rothmans blue and white liveried 944, the number 5 machine. Greg Rochik in the red 944. And we'll see if we can pick them up. They had a very close battle yesterday as well, with Agana taking the win in the afternoon by, I think, about a second, a little bit less than a second, actually.
They may be right there topping the hill, headed down into turn 5 now by this point. I believe that's them, right? Yep, that's Rochik right there.
That's Rochik, and there's Agana
right there
now has opened up a bit of a gap, yeah.
Yeah, Jason Nikic getting around Rochik there. And we went, last night, Greg, when we were handing out the trophies, last night I had the pleasure to go ahead and do that, and I said in there that I would definitely make sure that we got Ken Agnell's name correctly pronounced when we did that. He got a big kick out of that, started laughing, and he said to me, he goes, "It doesn't matter what it is. I know who I am."
There you go. There's a man who's confident in himself and confident in his driving as well. That's good. So I'll just call him Spiro Agnew for the rest of the day. For those of you right outside Summit Point, Maryland, I would say maybe not Maryland fans, but former Maryland governor and former vice president, for that matter. Let's see here, but it looks like he's having a very good time out there with Del Rey right behind Greg Rochik and Donald Anger as well. So they're Rochik now right in the middle of that 911 Cup race, and we saw yesterday as they come down the hill here, just ahead of Rochik in the blue 911 is Jason Nikic. And that car, as we noted almost all weekend long, Brian, it doesn't seem to have the legs that some of the other 911 Cup cars do, that when he gets out of turn 10 and onto the front straight, he's at a disadvantage. Where he has been incredibly strong is down here in the carousel, coming through turn 6B, through this little section here, turn 7 as well. And it's where he needs to be quick
Yes.
because that's where he's making all his time, and it's to make up for the deficiencies that he's had in other places. As we've got one of our drivers now coming in for we believe to be his 5-minute pit stop, as we've now breached that 15-minute barrier. We're about 17 minutes into the race. One of our 944s coming down the pit lane.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that and see what we've got. As a matter of fact, we've got Eugene Basha sitting here banging on the back door. So Eugene's going to come in, but you talk about Jason Nikic, and I tell you what, Greg, it's what we were talking about this morning with him, is that he's got that wider body, so it becomes an aero problem when he comes down through there. So that's part of the challenge that he has. And yes, he has to make up those, that spots and those gains on the backside of the racetrack.
On the backside, exactly. And I'm trying to see if I can pick up who that is that came down the pit lane. Actually, we'll get it in just a moment here. I think that might be Damon DeCastro in the 525 car on the pit lane now.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's doing his thing. So, Greg, as I was saying, when we went to that in-car camera and we noticed that it was let's welcome Eugene Basha, who obviously isn't out in his car. He's got a big smile on his face, but let's welcome Eugene Basha to the studio.
Hey, at least he's got a smile.
To the booth.
Hey, Eugene, how you doing? Good to see you.
Got out of the car now. I wish I wasn't, but I wish I was still in the car. But I'm here with you guys.
But overall, great weekend of racing for you. How's it been, other than this? I mean, and obviously had the early retirement yesterday morning. But tell us a little bit about what a PCA Club racing weekend like Rock the Summit entails for you.
I mean, listen, this is amazing, right? Like even those sessions where you kind of come out early, you have some car problems. It still doesn't negate the fact that this is just amazing. Look at Alex right now.
Yeah, looks like Alex Farragut, possibly a little bit of contact going into turn one as she looks to rejoin and now does.
And just a little fact, they're teammates as well, so they paddock together, so they know each other very well.
Yeah, we've had Alex up in the booth a number of times. She is definitely a character, without a doubt, and it looks like she's still trying to come to grips with this 911 chassis, a much different handling car than the 944 that she'd been running for years.
Absolutely, but listen, these events are so much fun, right? And the camaraderie, and Potomac region does a really, really good job hosting this event. The barbecue, the happy hour, the music, the foundation and the charity that they do. It's really amazing.
It's not just about the actual racing that we're seeing on the racetrack. It's about the family atmosphere that comes in that just brings everybody
100%.
together. And every year, we've been doing this the last 2 years, both Greg and I, it seems to be getting bigger and bigger every single year, especially within the last 2 years. And I would think next year would be even bigger to do that. So again, not just about the product on the racetrack, but about the product of everything in general, and definitely the family.
100%. And let me just, do a little, tidbit of fact here, right? As you see these guys competing on the track and they're really fighting for position and nobody's giving an inch, right? On the paddock, we're all friends. Like Jason, who's I think he's running first right now, and myself, Nate, Don, we're all paddock together. We're all hanging out together. We're working on each other's cars. We're helping each other. It's really a family.
So we started to talk real quick about the paint scheme. You and I were talking about it this morning. Give us a little bit more about that, because again, Greg and I both started to talk about that. And then you were talking about with me about the layout with the racetracks. Talk a little bit more about that for a couple.
Yeah, so it's funny, right? The car was originally white, and we had a very simple Martini livery on it, and it was getting kind of tired. I was like, you know what, we should change it up. So Jess and I were kind of chit-chatting, and I was like, we should change it up. We were looking at different things, kept throwing ideas at each other, and I said, why don't we just do the pink pig? And Jason if you guys don't know, he runs a magazine, interview magazine, and is, very much into marketing and all this thing. He's like, that's just too common. That's just too simple. Well, we don't want to do that. I was like, all right, what do you have in mind? He's like, why don't we just put the racetracks that we usually go to on the cutouts of the pig instead of the cutouts of the pig? Why don't we do the racetracks layout? So if you look closely, it's tough to say from the feeds and the screen, right? But if you look closely, it's not the pig cutouts. It's the actual racetracks that we go on. Summit Point's there, Watkins Glen, New Jersey, Motorsports Park, VIR, Sebring is in there on top of the roof. Lime Rock Park is on the tail. A couple of those are not on the car right now because the car got destroyed at Lime Rock in the rain. But,
well, that's one more reason not to put Lime Rock on there.
Right.
Although it'll probably be the smallest section of the car.
Love hate with Lime Rock's relationship right now.
Well, so what put you out today? I mean, I knew you were having problems.
Car keeps cutting off, like an electrical issue keeps cutting off. We think we know what the issue is. It's been leaking a little bit of oil on top of the motor, and I think that oil kind of goes into some of the crank sensors, whatever the throttle position sensor, whatever they are. And I think that keeps cutting off power. So it was happening earlier in the year. We kind of figured it out. I think we sorted it out and kind of came back this weekend again. So.
Well, as we're sitting here watching the stream here, we're watching, and again, Greg, the 525, that was not his 5-minute pit stop. So that car obviously had a problem, came down.
Okay.
You can see Rocek here in a bit of heavy congestion right there, trying to follow Jason Nikic through some of this slower traffic to catch back up to Ken Agnall. But Eugene, talk about the racetrack this morning, because obviously yesterday it was a little bit warmer, especially in the afternoon. Talk about what it's like here this morning, because I do believe you did go out for practice as well.
The track is fantastic. I mean, the first 3 laps, I was up there, like I think I did it 23 something, and it was really, really good. Felt really good. I was like, there's some pace here now. And I actually think I even did that time just staying on third gear through a couple of turns because my second gear is gone. So the track is really fast. I think for most of these guys now, the fact that they may or may not run, I don't know what times they're running right now, but they may or may not running fast times. Is just, one is the traffic, going through traffic, and 2 is the fact that they're all watching each other, making sure that nobody's passing behind you, so they're watching their lines and all that stuff. So protecting, from behind, so it kind of prevents you from really trying to put down a fast lap.
Well, I will tell you, you are correct. Your fastest lap was the last lap that you ran, which is always the truth.
Always
right?
the way it works. But Brian, he was running in running a mid 23, right where he said he was, and that's where everybody, Nikic and Alray and Anger, where they're all running right now. Those are their fastest laps. They've all started to settle in, I think, with a lot of this traffic. Maybe about 3 seconds off that, running in the mid 26 range. But pace-wise, you were right there, Eugene.
Yeah. That's consolation.
Sorry if that makes it. Yeah, I was going to say that probably isn't very comforting for you right now.
I tell you, as a competitor, it just hurts you to look from the TV right now. It really does.
Sorry, man.
We plopped him right down in front of the stream, right in front of the TV here, Greg. So he's while he's got a big smile on his face. Again, it is very unfortunate. This is not a position, as coming from drivers, both Greg and I as well, this is not a position you want to be in. You want to be out there kind of running and taking. It looks like Greg Rocek is going to go ahead and make his pit stop now, Greg, because he came in there pretty hot, so we'll see. But I do believe this is going to be the start of his 5-minute pit stop.
Yes, he takes it just about 25 minutes into this 90-minute race, and I don't think Rocek has a partner that he's sharing the car with, so he's going to just get a chance to kind of sit there and relax. So to actually tell me this, Eugene, because I know you've run a number of these endurance races before, and the one here at Summit is a little bit longer. It's running 90 minutes, where some of the ones that we've run during the season have only been 60. But when you come in for your pit stop, assuming you're not swapping seats with another driver, what are you doing? Are you just kind of sitting back there and just try to find yourself
sitting there eating a couple bonbons, or are you getting a hot dog?
Get yourself into a flow state and trying to relax before you go back out?
Listen, for me, it's just a chance to cool down a little bit, take a little drink of water, somebody will pass you down a bottle of water and take a little sip of water, just kind of, collect a little bit, calm down, bring your heart rate down. And honestly, a lot of times what I'm thinking about too is like, okay, how did that go? What could I be doing a little bit better? Where do I need to like push a little bit more or push a little bit less? Just kind of take my time a little bit. Thinking about a lot of times I'm thinking about the gap to the other guys, like how much ahead they're going to be, trying to figure it out in your head. Of course, it never works out, but you try. You try, but it's really a time to just relax a little bit, take a chance to breathe, and just bring your heart rate down a little bit.
So, so tell us this, because we're always interested to find out what people are doing when they're not here at the racetrack. I know you come from around New York City area, Metro New York area. What do you do for a living when you're not behind the wheel of the 23 car?
I work for a bank. I'm a trader. I work for a bank in the city. I go in there 5 days a week, and most of the weekends are spent working on the car. My wife hates it, in the garage. But during the week, I don't get home till about 7 o'clock. I leave early in the morning. So, being here takes a little bit away from family. So, that's a little bit of a downside. But you kind of need a little bit of, one of the reasons why I do this is you kind of need a little bit of an outlet and, stress reliever, if you will, from your daily job. And it's a pretty stressful job, so I kind of need something to like, just relieve that stress. But yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you Greg, we were sitting here talking, and Eugene, we with a smaller track like this, right, 2 miles, right, at that minute and 20 some seconds that everybody's going at, sitting down there for 5 minutes, that's almost 3.5 to 4 laps, right? So you got to think about the strategy of you got to try to keep close to obviously your 911 Cup competitors or any of the group. I mean, I'm looking here at the top 5, and again, we have 11 groups in this. And the top 5 are all from a different group, right? So that just shows the parity across the board for this first Enduro group. But talk about a little bit really the planning beforehand. What is this? What kind of do you plan for the strategy, or do you just let it play out the way it plays out?
Yeah, it's interesting. We talk a lot about this on the day prior, and in the morning what we're planning to do, and a lot of times we're playing it out a little bit in terms of yellow flags, right? Like we're waiting for that moment where if there's a potential yellow flag, and we know the course is going to go double yellow in the next lap, or if you're close to the accident, or one of your spotters is telling you there's a big accident and you think it's going to go double yellow, it's the best time to come in, right? Like, so we're waiting for those moments. But if that doesn't play out, and a lot of times it doesn't, right? Like some races are very clean and nothing happens, and I like to come in a little bit later. I like to wait and just get into the groove and just put down fast laps and just wait towards the end of the window. But again, it's like I think last time I saw a yellow and I just came in, and it happened to be a sort of a local yellow. It didn't really work out great, but whatever. You give it.
Right.
Listen, we're all amateurs. Nobody here is professional. We're all trying our best, and it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you kind of have a plan, but
Now, do each of you have maybe 1, maybe 2 spotters around the racetrack to tell you,
so
or do you?
Jason, myself, and Nate Dos Santos, we share a spotter. Cam is looking out for us. He's helping us on the pit stop. But he's there. He's calling the green flag for us. Calling yellows if he sees one. But we're on the radio. Believe it or not, Jason, myself, and Nate, we're on the radio as we're racing. We're on the radio. A lot of times I tell Jason, move over, but he doesn't. He doesn't listen.
There's the product of the whole teammates. The driver just doesn't listen. Wait, where have we seen that before?
When does that ever happen?
But we're all on the radio, and sometimes, if I see the yellow, I'll say, hey, like accident on turn 1, yellow. Jason will call it out if he sees it. So, we're all on the radio sharing information.
Well, that's good stuff. That's good to see the, and like I said, unfortunately, you'd much rather be down there, but to hear the behind the scenes of what these teams, and again, as you said, nobody here's a professional, everybody here's amateurs, but to take the teams and work together, in terms of that, again, because, you kind of always want to win your class, you always want to, but having those teammates and having that perspective of where everybody can sit down and talk about what you're all going to do that. Not only does that help the racing product, and that's what we were talking about this morning when we first got here, but it also helps with the safety of each individual. Everybody's looking out for each other
100%.
During that same time frame.
I mean, listen, like I said, we all know each other, especially the in class, right? Like, we know all of the 911 Cup guys, right? So we're very friendly with everyone, right? So it's very tough to be aggressive and to be sort of, dive bombing someone if you really know them well, right?
Sure.
Like if you're
Well,
friends, right?
Like it's going to happen right now going into 10, right?
Yeah.
As Don Anger took a quick look on Del Rey there.
Yeah.
But it's 100% true, right? Like we're all friends, and you're always looking out for each other, right? So like you don't want to put somebody in jeopardy. We all want to win. I'm telling you, like there's nobody that doesn't want to win there. Like they're all fighting to win as much as they can. They're trying to squeeze as much as they can out of that car, and but obviously you don't want to risk your car. You don't want to risk yourself. I certainly don't want to risk your friends. So.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Greg, when we sit and we look at the top five, as I was just mentioning here again, with 11 different groups, and you look at your overall top five, Franklin Prey leading not only that J class, but leading overall. Ryan McGrath, again, another strong run with Ryan out here in the H class is second. Waleed Shahadi in that Spec Cayman, again, been pretty quick here all weekend long.
Yeah.
In that 147 in third, Ken Agnau in fourth, leading that SP3, and then obviously Jason Nikic, who we've been talking about a lot here, with Eugene Basha in the 27. That's your top five.
Yeah, and as we're watching, I want to point out, because we're going to take a break here in just a moment, but been following this great battle for second in 9/11 Cup between Del Rey and Donald Anger. Here, as I said on the last lap, Anger looked for a moment like he was going to try to come underneath Al Ray in 10, but they are. This has been going on for like 6 laps now, Eugene.
I guarantee you it's going to go till one of them actually does a pit stop, and one of them probably is going to get tired of that fight, and he's going to come in and just to kind of get off, right? Because they're both slowing each other down, right? You can see Jason moving further ahead a little bit, right? They're fighting, their laps, I'm telling you, they're not getting better, just fighting with each other.
And
right?
that's exactly right. Nikic is running about a second and a half faster than they are now each and every lap, and you can see that as that gap continues to expand. All right, so why don't we do this? Let's take a break. Eugene, you want to hang out with us a little bit longer?
Sure.
I know you got a car to probably pack up. Your wife and kids that never get to see you probably.
They can hear you. They'll be able to hear you now.
They're watching. They really are.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We're going to thank some of our partners and sponsors. And when we come back, we'll have more endurance racing action here from the 2025 Rock the Summit presented by the PCA Potomac region of the Porsche Club of America. And, of course, this first endurance race brought to you by Track Day Tire. Please stay with us. Foundry Wealth Advisors, we believe that every client deserves our full and focused attention, the kind of attention required for smarter decision-making and effective goals-based financial planning. The atmosphere at Foundry Wealth Advisors is one of camaraderie and collaboration. Our people work together intensely, giving you a top-to-bottom, big-picture perspective. At Foundry Wealth Advisors, we view wealth management differently. To us, it's not only about investing your money, it's about investing in a relationship. Redefining wealth management means we really get to know our clients, their businesses, and their needs, and that we take a bird's eye view of your financial picture. Ask the right questions and hard work to help you understand the issues and risks you face. Our clients call us their financial therapists or their personal CFOs, but no matter how they describe us, it's clear they're experiencing a different way of working. By remaining in continual contact and checking frequently, we're able to achieve the type of working relationship where there are no surprises, which means our clients are able to make a more informed decision in achieving their goals. Foundry Wealth Advisors is proud to be a platinum sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2025, and we thank all the volunteers, racers, and crew for their participation.
Maverick Region PCA is excited to announce their Eagles Canyon 2 Club race on October 11th and 12th. They will be racing the counterclockwise 2.7-mile course with 15 turns and over 200 feet of elevation change. All races have points towards the PCA National and Mid-America Championships. Expect 2 practices, qualifying, and a 30-minute sprint race on Saturday, and 2 additional sprint races on Sunday, one 30 minutes long and one 40 minutes long. Podium-winning trophies for race classes with a 4+ car count and additional awards will be presented at the Saturday evening banquet at the Over the Top Bar and Grill at Eagles Canyon Raceway. Register today at clubregistration.net.
The Aaron Levitas Foundation is founded to prevent sexual assault by educating youth about boundaries, consent, and empathy using restorative approaches. Our mission is to reduce the incidence of sexual assault and help those who have experienced it heal. If we can stop sexual harassment early, we can reduce sexual assault and rape. To learn more about our many programs and initiatives, please visit our website at aaronlevitas.org. The Aaron Levitas Foundation is honored to be the charity partner for this year's Rock the Summit PCA Founders Region Club race. We thank all the racers and volunteers for helping support our cause. Please check out our auction in person or online by scanning the QR code. All monies raised help support our mission. Welcome back to Summit Point Raceway, the 2025 Rock the Summit, presented by the Porsche Club of America's Potomac region, the Founders region. And of course, this first of 2 endurance races today, brought to you by Track Day Tire. I'm Greg Ginsberg, along with Brian Donati, and joining us in the booth right now, although guaranteed he'd rather be out on track right now, Eugene Basha, driver of the number 23 Porsche 911 Cup class. What year is that, Eugene? It's a 1986 chassis? Is that
86,
right?
3.2. So there's a bunch of 3.2s in the class. There's a bunch of 3.0s, but those are the 2 more prevalent cars.
And I was going to ask you here, because Brian and I have just seen some amazing, such close, tight racing at multiple events this year in the 911 Cup class. I was wondering what makes you've talked about how close the racers are when they're off track, but what makes the cars so close as far as performance potential and capability there? Is the spec really tightly controlled? Obviously, you have to do something for different displacements, but what makes it such close racing?
It really is a spec class, right? So it's brought in all the air-cooled 911s together, and there's really 2 main motors, 3.0s and 3.2s, and the motor has to be stock. You cannot touch the motor. Whenever somebody does a rebuild, it has to be stock. Like you can't change anything in the motor, right? So having that stock motor, stock transmission, you can't change gears, you can't have none of that, right? So having those 2 components being stock, like it provides for very, very close racing, right? And everybody usually has the same sort of suspension, same tire. Everybody's using the same tire, same wheel sizes, so. It really makes for very, very close racing. There's a small, difference in RPM range between the 3.0 and 3.2, but between the torque and the way they deliver the torque, it evens things out very, very much. You'll see some of these cars have a little bit more of a top speed, but some have better torque out of the turns, but it evens out very, very well, and you guys are seeing it in the close racing.
Yeah, and when we've been talking most of the weekend, it's clear to us, for example, that Jason Nikic doesn't have the top end that a lot of you guys have, but he certainly makes up for it in the tighter, slower sections of the course down in the carousel, turn 5 through like turn 6 and turn 7, and you can see him really kind of muscling the car through that section of the track because he knows that that's where he's going to be strong.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's also a little bit of a driver sort of preference and how they drive a lot of these sections, right? One could be really, really fast through like the slower stuff. One could be really fast through the faster stuff. It's a little bit. It depends a little bit, but the cars are very, very equal, and I think that's what makes the class really interesting. Listen, I know when I'm coming in 5th or 4th or 6th or 7th, I know it's me. It's not the car. It's so like I got to work harder and I got to work smarter. So
yeah, it's interesting. I was just reading an article this morning from I'd say a noted driver coach and instructor in the community, and it does primarily club racing coaching, and how important self-reflection is to turning faster lap times. And it's not always just the data and the raw data, and it's not always just knowing when you're getting on the brakes, how you're releasing the brakes, and things like that. But there's a lot more mental game involved as well.
100%.
Usually it's not the car. I just found it very. It was a very interesting read this morning.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think the driver variance is the biggest variance here, right? It's not the cars. That's my personal feeling on a lot of this stuff, right? Like, you can put specific drivers in other cars, and I guarantee you they'll go faster or slower, right? So like it really depends on I think personally on the driver a lot more than on the car itself.
And actually, that coach, I guess I'll name drop. It's Ross Bentley. Many of you have read his books, his Speed Secrets books, and I would consider him to be almost. I would say he's an expert on the matter, again, this it's club racing, and as you mentioned, I think Eugene, a big part of this is one, it's stress relief from what you do during the week, and this is for most all of us when we're club racing. This is a hobby, and we don't have 7 days a week to devote to it, and we try our best to improve our mental game and our physical game as we're doing this. Sometimes 4 days out of the month at most.
Yeah, listen, one thing that's also very much underrated here and people don't talk enough about is the physical aspect of it. It's certainly mental, and it's certainly a lot of brain power to go fast and being aware and all that things, right? But a lot of it is also physical, right? Like driving some of our cars are like, our 911 Cup cars are no ABS, no power steering, right? Driving those things for 90 minutes, like this Enduro, you come out of it, you're
tough.
dead. So being in decent shape actually helps, and a lot of you can ask my teammates Jason and Nate and other guys that we chat with. A lot of the guys have goals throughout the season to get in better shape, and work on that a little bit. It really does help.
Yeah, and it's interesting as we go through and look at what a lot of the drivers have provided to us, and a lot of them, we've got triathlon competitors, we've got bike riders, folks that are doing a lot of stuff when they're not in a race car in order to keep up their physical health, because that plays a huge part in racing these longer events, because it is all tied. It is in some regards tied back to the mental game. If you become physically exhausted behind the wheel, you usually end up becoming mentally exhausted as well, and it's a much tougher. Yep. It's a much tougher fight over 90 minutes time. When you don't have the physical endurance.
Dell, you're seeing him on the screen right now. He just took pass on turn 10. He's an accomplished rider. He rides every day for a long time, and even yesterday he was racing. He was actually riding his bike for I think 45 minutes. He went for a bike ride. So these are guys that are actually working out quite a bit. So.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think Friday during the dinner when we were having a volunteer dinner down in here, I happened to look up, and there he was riding his bike on the racetrack, going the thing.
Yeah.
You talk about the shape and everything else. This track really, even, again, it's a lot of flow. Greg and I have talked about this a lot, and Greg will get to some updates here because we got a lot of activity that's been happening down on and off pit road. But, this track here, it's got a lot of flow, right? And it does have some space that's opened up, especially on the fronts. But, going through the backside of this racetrack, especially through here, once you get into the carousel and go through, your body gets thrown around into that car a lot. So
really hard.
It's really trying to get through all that pretty much.
Yeah, and so we do have a number of racers on the pit lane, as you mentioned. And Brian, I should also say that the Nissenbaum machine, the 411 G-Class Porsche Boxster, when we went to break, we saw it over on the side of the track just off the front straight. So apparently some mechanical issues with that car that it needed to be removed by the emergency services team, which has been absolutely wonderful here this weekend.
Awesome job from those guys.
Yeah, we were talking during the break with Eugene that so many of the tracks that we go to and that Brian and I go to, it's not just Porsche Club of America where tracks, and a lot of it's a liability issue. They're not going to send their emergency services teams out to retrieve drivers on a hot track that it usually is going to incur either a full course caution or a black flag in order to let that happen. And we've had a wonderful team here that has not shied away from going out and retrieving disabled cars while the race is ongoing, with nothing more than a local caution around that incident area to get them cleared up.
I went off on turn 10 yesterday or the day before, whenever it was.
Yeah, we saw.
And thanks.
So did a lot of other people, by the way.
Sorry.
Yeah. By the way, that's a commentator's curse, I heard. That
It was.
the moment you
Yeah,
guys
it's all
put
my
me
fault.
on, I went off. I think I'm blaming you guys for that.
I'll take
Not
the
me
blame for that.
overcooking the turn. It was you guys.
Yeah.
But these guys, they put they pulled me out while the cars were racing, and I thought for a moment I was like, are we really doing this? But okay, let's go. I'm okay with it. I'm strapped in. I'll be all right.
You're buckled in. You're fine. Right?
But they didn't shy away from it. They just pulled me right out, and that's right at the exit of that turn. It's a dangerous spot. So, but they were great. These guys are really, really good.
Yep.
So
Greg, sorry, Greg. I was going to say a lot of that activity that was on pit road, Ken Agnon now just coming off pit road, so he's completed his. We talked about James Clemens in the 06 having that battle with David Nissenbaum all day yesterday. He's been on pit road. Dave Rubel's been on pit road. Donald Anger's been on pit road.
I think
Dominic
Jordan
Belvedere
Simon as well, our G-Class leader, has been on pit road as well.
Yeah,
Paul Miko as well.
Yeah, Dominic Belvedere, though, Greg, he went out for practice this morning and ended up having a problem down into turn 1. They
Okay.
towed him back. He, in turn, did not take the green flag, but was able to go down and come out the grid and come back out of the back of the paddock. So now Dominic Belvedere is on track again. So whatever they had that problem with earlier on, he's completed 6 laps in that spec Cayman. So again, Dominic Belvedere having a pretty disastrous start to his Sunday, but able to get back out and at least complete some laps. He's got 6 laps in already. So
if you notice, Don Anger is out from his pit stop.
Yeah, he just came back out not that long ago.
And he probably got tired standing behind Dell for a while, so he went in. He's like, I think that's the right thing to do.
Although I've run these types of events before, and Eugene, and if I'm trailing another car, I will come down right behind them just in the hopes that I'm a little bit faster out and hit that 5-minute mark spot on when they don't. As we're watching, look at that.
There he is.
Yeah, as Anger has moved away, but another great fight there between the 944s and 968s, as we just saw the Henderson machine fighting just for just a little bit with the red 944 there.
And that's I believe that is a battle there in class.
In class,
but,
exactly.
Henderson was on pit road. I think a little bit more than his 5 minutes, because that, I believe, would have been that may be Greg Rochick ahead of him.
It's Greg Rochick in the
which
320
is actually,
machine.
3 laps ahead of Henderson right now. And then you got Damon DeCastro in that 525, who we saw, Greg, on pit road early on. That was not his 5 minutes. That was come down to the crew. But if you look down on pit road right now, Franklin Prey is in. I think there's probably 20 cars on pit road right now, Eugene, that we're sitting here looking down there. I tell you what, the crews are busy, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably 50% of the cars on the racetrack right now, currently. The other 50% are into the, on pit road. So it is a pretty big deal here. I think we got Terrence Judge now coming off pit road, Greg. So, again, that activity is really coming in to do that.
And trust me, they're all trying to time that pit stop as close to that 5 minutes as possible.
Yep.
Nobody wants to be 5:05.
Right.
And nobody wants to
Exactly.
be 4:59 either,
Oh,
because
my
you know what
God.
that's like. I
I got
think at New
black flag
Jersey,
at-
I think you got
No, I got black flag at the VIR. I had to do a
Right.
drive-through. I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? I think I was like 1 or 2 seconds down. I was like, oh, man. I was like, whatever. That was the end of that.
spoken like a true racer,
Sorry.
whatever. It doesn't
Whatever.
matter at this point. Yeah, no, that's what makes these Enduros, and again, we talked about it. None of these, we're not professional drivers here. We're not, this is just coming out and enduring. But, when you look at that and you look at endurance racing, and you talked about it, right? The team, even though they're your competitors, you're talking to them, trying to figure out exactly what is the strategy. When do we pit? When do we not pit? I think we've, Greg and I both have kind of looked at this, and this is the reason why I love endurance racing, is to basically build a strategy for the team to say, this is how we're going to do it, even though sometimes as the race goes on, that doesn't happen, right? I mean, that just doesn't work out, and you have to basically do it on the fly if something doesn't happen. You talked about, potentially when you're out there, you're looking for that, opportunity for double yellow, get on pit road, use that as your time frame. But then you also got to get it done, because you have a window where towards the end of the race, you can't pit, right?
No,
It becomes
no.
where it's closed, technically, unless you have a mechanical or emergency that you have to come down pit road for your crew. But,
And listen, a lot of times it's also like the flow of the race, right? Like you saw it earlier, like Don and Dale were fighting it out, and Don said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't I just take the pit stop? Let me get into some fresh air and put some down some fast laps, right?" A lot of times is like if I'm running fast, if I'm doing fast laps, I don't want to come in,
Right.
I don't want to interrupt that flow. A lot of times if I feel like I'm struggling a little bit and like I'm not up to speed where I should be, I'll come in at that point, right?
Yeah.
And just, make that, my pit stop and just kind of collect myself and then go out again and hope for the best. But
Yeah, Greg, so when we look at some of these groups right here, Robbie Wilson still, 37 laps
dominating.
completed, pretty much dominating. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much dominating this weekend. I do believe he may be on the pit road right now. Sam Halabi sitting in second in Spec Boxster. I do believe Sam's, he may be on pit road as well. The driver that I've not seen come down pit road yet, and this could be the big strategy play here, Greg, and that is Ryan Farragut. So
Yeah.
obviously Halabi is on pit road because Ryan just went by him as he's headed down into turn one from a lap perspective. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan doesn't pit this time. Alex Farragut just left pit road, so she's completed her 5-minute mark already. There is, I believe that is Sam Amano coming down as well. I believe he pitted earlier there. There's Ken Agnall. So again, both of those cars having already been out there for at least one lap, they should go by her without a problem here from a speed perspective.
I'm
Yeah,
really
and
looking
I
at,
think you're right. Oh, sorry, Eugene. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm really looking out for the, for this SPB race, how second and third going to shake out. That they're always fighting it out. I think Robbie's really, really good. So I think he's got that
Well,
one.
there goes Robbie there, just over the hill. So Robbie should be coming down here momentarily. So I don't believe he has made his pit stop yet.
I'm really looking forward to that second and third spot. See who gets
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and,
Those guys are
and
so close.
and with Wilson still lapping almost 2 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the Spec Boxster field, he's obviously got
The Care Bear car.
got
there
some
he is.
time built up there. Yeah, exactly.
So he is coming through the carousel right now. Your second place in that Spec Boxer, Ryan Farragut, he just went by the start-finish line. So there's that gap. And again, it's about four laps here from what I'm seeing, Greg, looking at timing and scoring. for these minute 23s, minute 30 seconds, where that's how many laps it's going to take, for your pit stop. So Robbie Wilson, Ryan Farragut trying to build up as big of a gap as they can over the, Halabis, Rubles, Calcanos, and those guys. So,
although what I might recommend, and I might have if I was Robbie Wilson, suggested that he pit in on the lap that had just concluded, because he's coming up on a lot of traffic ahead of him right now that he's going to have to contend with. And he's probably going to end up getting to them just at the exit of turn 5 or down in the carousel. That's going to slow the Care Bear car up quite a bit. That, again, it's always a crapshoot. We don't have a bunch of Formula One strategy folks behind the computers trying to figure out where you would come back out in traffic. But I think it's going to be a better chance for him rather than having to fight through these 5 cars or 6 cars actually right here. So maybe we'll see him head to the pit lane this time through.
Well, remember, we've seen in other Enduros where Robbie waits to the very last minute, builds up as large a gap as he can, and right before that pit window closes, he's got it timed just enough in order to get to the pit road so that he's not racing full out for, another full 30-minute sprint, right? He's got maybe 20 minutes left, because I think they close, 15 minutes?
15 minutes before.
15 minutes before the end of the race. So he utilizes that time frame to say, hey, now I only have a 15-minute sprint, or even a 10-minute sprint,
depending
when he comes in.
I like to stay till, towards the end of that window and take that very short stint towards the end. But again, it kind of works, depends on how it works a lot of times.
Right.
But, it's...
Well, and again, things I think are a little bit different here, Eugene, because we haven't seen the need for all the full course cautions that usually hit at some of the other facilities. And so, you're always at those other tracks, you're playing a bit of a crapshoot in hoping that, as drivers as their physical and mental endurance starts to wear down towards the end of a race, where there is maybe more of a chance of, people getting a little sloppy, for lack of a better word, that it might bring out a full course caution before, right before that 15-minute window ends. And I think we had that happen at Road Atlanta this year during one of our races, if I remember correctly, Brian, and it puts you to the point where you've already missed your window to pit in before the checkered flag.
Well, we also had it at Watkins Glen as well.
Yeah.
Right? So we do have a waving yellow there in turn 5, so we may have had one car spin around and go off. Looks like they may have dropped that now, so whatever that car was able to continue on. Not seeing a car there. That was Franklin Prey that came around. I don't believe that was Franklin that spun there, so we'll try to figure out what that number was.
And we're getting word from our producer that it was one of the red cars down there. That's thanks, Jordan. We'll try. Well, I think we'll be able to piece it together, because there's going to be one driver that likely has a much slower lap time this time through. We'll get that lap.
I was trying to hear it over the radio, but they said it pretty quickly, and I don't think they were able to really pick it up. I really only see one red car, and that's Rocek, but we'll
there's Rocek, also kind of Jordan Simon, possibly.
Yeah, he's got that Boxster. It's red, some silver on it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm hearing over the radio that may have been one of your guys. That may have been Nate that spun down in there. That kept. So we'll have to see. I don't know if that was the number that they did, or they were calling who was coming down pit road.
So the 0-0 Nate Dos Santos, is that what you're saying?
I think that's possibly Jason Nikic just now leaving pit road. So again, he's completing his 5-minute mark, and I do believe we have Robbie Wilson now on pit road, Greg. So
there
looks
we go.
like our spec boxer right there. You can just see it to the right of the screen. So yeah, he has been listening to you within the last two laps. Robbie Wilson now on pit road. So again, we'll see. Again, I've been averaging it out based off of the lap times right now. It's about close to about 3.5 laps, almost 4 laps, depending on your lap time. He's got a full lap on Mark Francis in the 91. Ryan Farragut sitting in third, 2 laps down. But again, Ryan I don't believe Ryan actually may be on pit road now as well. So
Yeah, and I'm sure
looking down
that
there.
Mark has not hit the pit lane, and he's
Yeah.
been
Yep.
running. Most of his lap times have been in the 128 to 129 range, so he's been running about 4 seconds a lap off of Robbie Wilson.
Right, and I know Daniel Rubel and Sam Halabi, along with William Calcagno, has also been on pit road already, along with Lawson Wilder. So, basically your third all the way down has already pitted, other than Farragut, and I think he is on pit road right now. So.
All right, well, Brian, this is going to be a good time to break then, and when we come back, we'll be able to see where Robbie Wilson comes out, if he's still leading Spec Boxster. Eugene, you going to stick around with us a little longer?
I think I'm going to go take a little break here as well. I got to go to the restroom, to be honest.
Well, those are right downstairs, by the way.
Drinking a lot of water.
Not a long walk. But if he doesn't return, it's not our fault. But we've been talking with Eugene Basha, driver of the number 23 911 Cup Class car. An unfortunate early retirement here, but we have been very lucky, very blessed to have him up in the booth with us. Thanks so much, Eugene.
Thank you, guys. This has been great. Thank you so much. And you guys are wonderful, by the way. Doing a really, really good job.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So since we're doing such a wonderful job, you won't mind, those of you at home that are watching us on either the Porsche Club of America or PCA Potomac YouTube channels, staying with us and also giving us a big thumbs up on YouTube if you haven't done so already. But we're going to take a quick break. Thanks to our partners and sponsors. And when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag for our first of 2 endurance races. This one presented by Track Day Tire. It's the 2025 Rock the Summit, presented by the PCA Potomac region, the founders region of the Porsche Club of America. Stay with us. Pirelli and Porsche have been a winning combination around the racing world for years. Pirelli is proud to bring that relationship to PCA Club Racing yet again in 2025. Make sure to see the guys from Frisbee and find the right Pirelli tire for your vehicle, or check them out on the web at frisbeeracetire.com. Pirelli powers nothing without control.
Based in New Jersey, Precision Motorsports, or PMR, is a supporter of club racing and a new national sponsor for 2025. From the latest Cup cars to 944 racers, PMR has supported them all here at the track. True experts in their craft and dedicated to performance. Find them on Facebook at Precision Motorsports.
New for 2025, Isringhausen will be sponsoring the GTD 1, 2, and 3 classes. Our group here at Club Racing are thrilled to have them on board. Over the past 30 years, Isringhausen has become synonymous with quality vehicles and superb service. The Isringhausen way of doing business has been one of offering excellent products at fair prices, coupled with service that goes above and beyond what anyone would expect from a typical car dealership. We believe that good service is comprised of 2 components: a willing and helpful attitude, accompanied by competency in your field. We try to support an environment where each person who works here strives to serve each customer as they wish to be served, with dignity and respect. Because of these core values, Isringhausen has become and will continue to be a leading example in the industry.
One of our latest partners, Track Day Tire, is happy to be supporting Club Racing through their Toyo, Hoosier, and Michelin tires. Use the code PCACR for a discount at checkout. The TrackDayTire.com team is passionate about helping our customers extract the highest level of performance from their vehicles on the track. Decades of on-track experience has taught us purpose-designed track-use tires are arguably the single most important vehicle component that influences driver confidence to obtain maximum vehicle performance. Making it easier for our fellow Track Day enthusiasts to obtain confidence-inspiring tires is our goal. We look forward to providing you access to the best prices and customer support in the industry.
Welcome back to Summit Point Raceway. Our commercial break a lot shorter than the endurance race, that's for sure. I didn't expect to be back so soon, but it is the 2025 Rock the Summit. It's the final day of the Rock the Summit, presented by the PCA Potomac region, the founders region of the Porsche Club of America. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Brian Donati, and we've got, Brian, about 25 minutes left in our first of 2 90-minute endurance races. We've got the big boys, all the Cup cars coming up next, so you're going to want to stay with us. But so far, great race here as Mark Francis, I think probably the last driver left the pit in Spec Boxster. Currently your leader in class with Robbie Wilson showing second, Daniel Rubel third, Ryan Farragut fourth. In SP3, Ken Agana, your leader, with Greg Rochick second. Both of those drivers have come down the pit lane. We've got the team of Harrison and Thomas in third, Damon DeCastro currently in fourth, with Chip Henderson running in fifth. In the G class, Jordan Simon, your leader, with James Clemens and David Nissenbaum, your three drivers in the class. Then in the H class, it is Ryan McGrath, your leader, Terrence Judge second, Mark Salvador third. In GT5, the team of Glickle and Katz leads John Haas. In 911 Cup, and of course this one very important in the hearts and minds of Eugene Basha, who just joined us. And again, Brian, great to have Eugene up in the booth, giving us a great perspective, not only on the racing out on track, but just the whole Porsche Club of America club racing mindset. It was great to have him here. Nate Dos Santos, even with that little spin down at turn 5, he leads. Jason Nikic, Donald Anger, and Dwayne Moses, but I think Dos Santos may be the only racer yet to pit in 911 Cup. Wahid Shahadi leads Spec Cayman over Dominic Belvedere, but Belvedere brought his car down the pit lane on lap 19 and has not returned. And in ME1, Gene Raimondi over Frank Osborne. And I don't think Raimondi has come down the pit lane yet. He may have, but I'm showing him as being 4 laps up from Osborne at the moment.
Yeah, I don't really think he's pitted. I don't think DeSantos is pitted either. So
right, I think they are some of the last ones to pit at this point, and they're getting close to that 15-minute cutoff. They've got about 7 minutes in a window. They've got a window of about 7 minutes when they'll need to come down the pit lane.
Yeah, we got a couple cars still sitting down here. Not very many. Trust me, everybody has made that pit window and closed that gap. For that. But again, a couple cars still sitting down there. Can't make them out because of the pit out little tower that's down there. So when they go off, I'll give you those numbers. But sitting here watching coming out of turn number 10 and that Ryan Farragut, again, he's definitely made his pit stop. We'll have to pick up where Robbie Wilson is on the racetrack as well, because that's where I think that battle is going to be. Because as you mentioned, Greg, Mark Francis, he hasn't yet to pit, I believe.
Correct. Oh, that's right.
Yet either. So Wilson looks like once Francis pits, and Francis may be on pit road right now.
I think he just came in as Robbie Wilson has now clipped back over to the lead.
Yeah. Again, the battle will be for that second position, probably between Rubel and Farragut as this race starts to wind down. Again, Ryan McGrath leading the H class, as you were talking about, Greg, over Terrence Judge, and then Mark Salvador. I know Mark Salvador just finished his pit stop a couple laps ago, so should be going on, I think, once everything recycles back all the way through. I think the drivers that were up in the lead before will probably still stay on the lead.
Yeah. I think that's exactly where we are at this point. Is almost everyone has almost every car has completed that cycle. It's going to take it's going to take a bit of physical, as we were talking with Eugene, physical and mental endurance here. Not just having a car that'll stay underneath you for 90 minutes to take it home to the checkered flag. As we look through some of these classes, and Mark Francis definitely on the pit lane now. I can see him from that shot, and he now falls back to 6th behind the rest of the field. Robbie Wilson just coming across the start-finish line in the Care Bear car. Actually, there he is coming over the crest of the hill. Or no, he's coming down into turn 1. I'm sorry. Here we go with the headlights on right in front of us there. There's the Care Bear car. Robbie Wilson now with, I think, close to 50 seconds on Daniel Rubel in Spec Boxster. Ken Agna has, after the pit stops, really been able to open up his advantage on Greg Rochick. Rochick was getting caught up in a lot. He was in one of those big pockets of traffic And Agnaw now has 15 seconds over the driver of the red 320 machine. Jordan Simon with almost 50 seconds on James Clemens. And in the H class, excuse me, Ryan McGrath with, I think, also close to a minute on Terrence Judge. Things, a lot of these classes really starting to stretch out. And I'm looking to see where we have actually still some very close fights in class. In 911 Cup, we had seen where Jason Nikic had just early on had been able to open up almost, I think, 5 seconds on the rest of the 911 Cup field. Don Anger had almost a 20-lap battle going on with Del Ray.
Right, exactly.
But Ray, I think, did retire his car early. And Anger now still about 3 seconds back from Nikic. Currently, they're shown as running second and third, but again, we don't think Nate DeSantos has brought his car in for a pit stop yet. He's showing 2 laps up on both Nikic and Anger, and Dwayne Moses for that matter.
And he's going to have to get that done relatively quickly, Greg, because he's got about 3 minutes left to go, and he just went by the start-finish line. He was kind of in the battle there with Agnaw, Henderson, Gene Raimondi, and Wally Chahadi there, and he kind of let them all go by. So it could be that he's trying to get himself and maneuver himself around where he's going to have to start making that pit stop.
Yeah. And again, most of these cars, not a real issue making it 90 minutes on fuel. It's just simply that there is a 5-minute pit stop rule, and you have to take that you have to start that 5-minute pit stop before the clock hits 15 minutes remaining in the race. And so we're now right at about 3 minutes left in that window before the car comes in for its pit stop.
Yeah. Well, keep an eye on him. Like I said, with only being really technically 1 lap up now on his next competitor there of Jason Nikic. I tell you what, again, as a matter of fact, I think here comes DeSantos now on pit road. So he's just now hitting pit road for
there he is.
His 5 minutes. So again, with that 2, maybe 3 lap, really in that class there, it's about 3.5 laps.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to drop down the order. So tried to do it as long as he could.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a question of when he comes out between he and Alex Farragut. Farragut currently 3 laps down, essentially 3 laps down from our leaders, and we think that that when Dos Santos comes back out after he's completed his pit stop, it'll probably be about lap 40, maybe 49 for Farragut. So Farragut, and we show 48 laps complete for Dos Santos, but as soon as he comes out of the pit, off the pit lane, he's going to go and complete lap number 49.
Correct.
And so, so Farragut, who is still working 47, it may be close, but I think Farragut might actually come out ahead of Dos Santos when that pit stop is finished. I'm looking to see if we're still waiting on any of our other drivers now, because I think a couple of the others that we were waiting on have now come down the pit lane as well.
Yeah, I think everybody in the field has now pitted.
Yeah.
I think Nate in that 00 was the last car to pit through the entire field, right?
Yeah.
So I think everybody has gotten their 5 minutes as now Nate starts to drop down based off of sitting down here on pit road. But I think you're right, Greg. I think Alex and Nate DeSantos, that's really going to be that battle for that 5th in class, as opposed to where he comes out, as opposed to where she is on the racetrack.
All right, well, Brian, let's do this because we have about 15 minutes left in this race. Let's make a call to the grid for our next endurance group. Attention in the paddock, yellow endurance group drivers, please start heading to the grid. Yellow endurance group drivers, please head to the grid for your race. All right, so with 15 minutes remaining, Robbie Wilson does retake the lead in Spec Boxster, and Brian, as he has been lapping now, even after the pit stop, about a half second a lap faster than Dan Rubel. Now has over a minute of a margin on Dan Rubel as Wilson just crosses the start-finish line to start lap number 50. In SP3, Ken Agnaw again leading as he just, I believe, crossed the line in his 9:44, and he's got considerable margin on Greg Rochek. And again, as I'm looking through the order here, I'm looking to see if we've got some interclass battles that are fairly, that are close as we come to the end. And most of these classes, I think the closest thing I've got for you is in Spec Boxster, the blue Boxster of William Calcagno running in fourth, Sam Halabi in his black Boxster
right there, that
running
was on
in
the
fifth.
screen. Yeah, Greg, right there in the screen that we're just going through turn 5 now. And then they have Robbie Wilson just behind him. So there is Ryan Farragut.
Yeah.
There is Calcagno. There is Halabi. So Robbie Wilson getting ready to lap, Sam Halabi there as well. So going to lap all the way up into fifth in class, right? So you've got Calcagno just ahead of Halabi in there, and then you've got Wilson with Farragut. So Robbie trying to put as much pressure on all of these cars as he can. Really to put, an entire lap and a half, almost 2 laps in front of the entire field there in that Spec Boxster.
Yeah. But right now, the orange and black of Farragut, who's running third in Spec Boxster, Calcagno in the black with the silver stripe right by the passenger side of the car. They're running third and fourth, and then Sam Halabi in the next black Boxster, the number 145 car. He is currently running in fifth. So I would like to say, although it looks like Farragut's in a pretty good position with 12 minutes remaining, not all is settled there in Spec Boxster for that last podium position.
No, absolutely. I mean, it depends on whether or not Calcagno can catch him right there coming down into turn 5, and he's definitely coming. So, again, and look, Greg, that's a product of did you take care enough of the tires in the first stint before you made your pit stop? If you did, you're going to have some left over for the last 12 and a half minutes of this race. If you didn't and you tried to get as much as you can, then you're probably going to run out a little bit of the tires here when we get to that 5-minute mark.
And not that yesterday was an indication, and the sprint races, which were 30 minutes long, were an indication of what's going to happen here. But we did see where Farragut had a tendency to run the tires off towards the end of the race. And on the prior lap, we had Calcagno just about a half second faster than Farragut. On this lap, as they both complete lap number 50, Calcagno picked up another 0.3 of a second. So and you can see it on track here. He is absolutely closing things down. The gap now is a second and a half. But again, less than 12 minutes. It's gonna be close at the end. And just because Calcagno can get to the bumper of Farragut, it doesn't necessarily mean that Farragut's going to fail in any kind of defense.
Well, it's going to determine how quickly he can get in front of Mark Salvador there to put that another car in between him and Calcagno. And Ryan Farragut is struggling to get by Mark Salvador in that machine right there. He's been behind him now for the last 3 laps, and there you go, Greg.
Calcagno's there. He's now 2 car lengths back.
Mm-hmm. Clearly see that is definitely holding Ryan up in that 29 machine. So again, you've got to make quick work of Salvador. If not, Calcagno's got the run coming down through there. Now it does look like they both are going to get by Salvador there, and I really thought that Calcagno was going to try to make a move on the 29 at the same time, trying to get a 2-for-1 there on the
but I'll tell you, Calcagno stayed so far as we've got a local caution down at turn 5, and we just saw the dust clouds, and that's Ryan Farragut.
That's Alex Farragut.
Alex Farragut, as Ryan is going to be coming and seeing his daughter pointing right at him in just a moment here. She can get that, unless she can get that car turned around. But I was going to say, when they came through turn 10, Brian, Calcagno, as he was coming underneath that slower car, really kept this car pinned almost all the way driver's right going into turn 10, did not get good exit speed. And there you go, as as he's now got Shahadi's gotten around him there, and his
Yeah.
Spec Cayman. Calcagno has now given up about, I'd say, close to 8 car lengths in almost half a lap, and a lot of that just came down to his approach to turn 10.
Yep. Yeah, and a little bit of lockup there with from Dominic Belvedere. Again, he's had that problem pretty much all weekend long, kind of locking that up. But yeah, you're right, Greg. That was a product, as you just said, a product of coming down to turn 10. You see all the momentum just lost through that. So going to have to work back up. Still has some time to catch him right now, but that battle, you got to be careful there too, because even though that is the battle for the last podium spot, you kind of really don't want to get lapped by the class leader if you can help it, but because you're trying to defend, and then what that's going to do is that's going to bring Wilson right back in, as there goes Wilson now through turn number 10, and he's getting ready to get by Salvador as well, getting ready to come up on Sam Halabi as the next car in front of Robbie Wilson, which is a battle in class, but that's for a battle to put Halabi a lap down. As Franklin Prey tries to get into the fight there as well, kind of coming through. And again, Franklin, I believe, is back on the top there with Ryan McGrath second. Shahadi, just went by this group as well, Greg, and that is actually he's actually sitting in third, leading that Spec Cayman.
Yeah, and should mention Franklin Prey just reset fast lap as the fuel is running down, the car is getting lighter now, and again our sole racer today, I think in the J class, if I remember correctly. Yes, so no competitors for him in J, and then Ryan McGrath in H is our sole racer in H today. Oh no, I take that back. I'm sorry. He's got Terrence Judge and the Salvador entry in H class as well, but McGrath comfortably in the lead there, running second overall.
Yep.
As time running down under 10 minutes. Again, we've had all of our drivers come in for their mandatory pit stops, and very little time. So, Brian, let me do this. Let me make another call to the grid for our next group. Attention in the paddock. Second call for Yellow Group Endurance Racers. Please head to the grid. Yellow Group Endurance Racers, please head to the grid. Your race starting in just a few moments.
Just saw Jason Nikic go by the start-finish line in that 911 Cup car. Again, he's got a 14.5-second lead over Donald Anger, waiting for the third place, Dwayne Moses, in that 6:41 to come by and down the start-finish line. Haven't seen Dwayne. Here comes Dwayne now, getting ready to cross the start-finish line. So another 21 seconds back to your third place. So, Greg, we were talking about where Nate Dos Santos is going to come out in that 00 machine between him and Alex Farragut. She actually tried to give him a little bit of a thing with that.
Is that why she went off
down in turn 5? But it doesn't seem like that's going to be, really it. There's a pretty big gap, and that's just a product of, Nate's kind of in that middle ground anyway, and there's a 3-lap difference between fourth and fifth. So
so Farragut, despite her issue, two issues. One right in, I guess, the first 20 minutes of the race, and then this one just a little while ago. She's only a lap down from the leaders, but as you mentioned in that battle for fourth, she's got 3 laps on Nate Dos Santos at this point. As we continue to watch this battle for the last podium position in Spec Boxster, the orange and black machine, that is Ryan Farragut, that's Alex Farragut's father, and then directly behind him, William Calcagno in the black with silver striped machine. Farragut in a 1997 Boxster, Calcagno running a 1998 chassis, a 99 chassis. And he's getting back up there, and Brian, they don't have a lot of traffic here remaining for what should be when Robbie Wilson comes around. They'll probably have about 4 laps remaining here, at most 3, possibly 4 laps.
Yeah, I had a good conversation with Ryan last night at the social, and I talked about his little off up there in turn 3, and I said, good thing you kept that straight. He goes, well, you know what? I did see some video in some of the other cars that we won't mention. They tend to just keep the wheel straight and keep going. He goes, that's all I did because the track comes right back to you. He goes,
exactly.
So I knew I wasn't in any type of, any type of hurry to get through there, as he almost misses the entry there down into turn 1. That car made almost that double move, Greg, and I'll tell you what, that just almost did not work out well for Ryan. That's actually letting Calcagno get even closer with that double move on that entry going into turn 1. But yeah, he said he'd seen some videos of ours and saw that, well, if they could do it, I could do it too.
God, I hope he wasn't watching many of my videos, because every single one has either a car flipping over or going off track somewhere. Yeah. Actually, that's not true.
But yeah, that car just looks, again, and that was the other part of the conversation that we talked about down into turn 1 and really down into turn number 10. The front end just doesn't seem to want to, under that heavy braking, just doesn't seem to want to get that rotation in to get starting on that. So he did say that there are a couple of these turns that he is just really struggling with, just can't get into the entry clean like he wants to. So he's been fighting that pretty much all weekend. Turn 10 is one of them. Like I said, turn 5. And Greg, we've got Calcagno there going off in turn number 10. Again, that was a product of probably looking out the window there, because Ryan Farragut went really, really wide, wider than he has been all weekend long in turn 10. So
yeah, and it looked like Calcagno might have turned in a little bit early, Brian, and he was visibly trying to yank the car back over to driver's right a little bit, maybe got out of the throttle, and as the weight moved to the front of the car, rear end stepped out on him. Luckily there, as he went off, we saw it earlier in the weekend, with cars that will drop a wheel over there and end up shooting back across the track, and that did not happen, as we had a number of racers coming through turn 10 right behind, as we've got a driver off, looks like
that's the Clemens machine. That's the 06. Well, you know what, Greg, you talked about Calcagno there, right there in turn number 10. If we look at that camera, you can see clearly out of turn number 10, there is a bunch of gravel. You can see it just to the left, or just to the right of the ticker right there. That's really on exit. That is, you can see the drivers trying to make maneuvers, trying to get into the middle of that, where it kind of is lessened. But right there on exit, on that corner, on those rumble strips, there is a lot of pea gravel sitting there, and that is really going to cause these cars to get loose when that starts to get on these hot tires.
Yeah. So again, as you mentioned, that was James Clemens in the 06 G class, 2003 Boxster. Looks like he's pulled his car off with only about a minute and a half remaining, so about maybe 1 lap, 2 laps remaining. He was firmly entrenched in second place in the G class, with David Nissenbaum having retired almost 25 laps prior, and Jordan Simon was already leading the class, and when he comes by, I think he had a lap already on James Clemens.
And I do believe the next time Franklin Prey comes around, he may end up getting the checker. Our starter has it in his hand, so we'll have to see. And he's got the number board for Franklin's number on there. We'll see whether or not he's going to give him the 1 to go or the checkered. I believe Franklin could be coming out of... coming up over the hill here momentarily. As a matter of fact, no, that's Ryan McGrath right there.
That's McGrath.
So he should be
there. He is there. He is right now, coming into turn 10's third car. Well, second to last in this group, as he comes onto the front straight now. And we've got a little bit over a minute. So
and there it is. There's the check. Sorry, Greg. There's the checker flag for them. So they threw it right there. So every car behind there. So again, Franklin Prey picking up the win here overall in this Enduro, as well as the J class.
All right, so checkered flag coming out about a minute earlier than we expected. So, Brian, let me do this. Let me make a final call to the grid for our next endurance group, and then we'll start to break things down by class here for all of our viewers. Attention in the paddock, attention in the paddock. Final call for Yellow Group Endurance Racers. Please head to the grid. Yellow Group Endurance Racers, please head to the grid. Your race is next. All right, Brian, so as all of our remaining drivers cross the start-finish line, take the checkered flag in this hard-fought 90-minute endurance race, let's start to break things down by class. And we're going to start with the J class because, well, there's only one entrant, and he was our overall winner as well. Franklin Prey takes the win with a fast lap time of 120.672, and again, your overall winner. Finishing second overall and taking the win in the H class is Ryan McGrath, and Ryan takes the win over Terrence Judge, who finished 2 laps down, and Mark Salvador will finish in third, 3 laps down. Finishing third overall was Wahid Jihadi, and he takes the win in Spec Cayman. There were only 2 drivers in Spec Cayman today. There was Jihadi and Dominic Belvedere, and unfortunately Belvedere had to retire his machine after 36 laps. Finishing 4th overall and taking the win in the SP3 class, Ken Aguinal, who finishes with an advantage of 14 seconds on Greg Rochek. The team of Harrison and Thomas finishes third, 4 laps down, and then Damon DeCastro and Chip Henderson round out the 5-car class. Let's take a look at some of our other fields here. In Spec Boxster, Robbie Wilson takes the win over Daniel Rubel. Rubel finishing on the lead lap. Ryan Farragut will finish third, holds off William Calcagno, who had that incident there coming out of turn 10 with 2 laps remaining. So Farragut gets the third step on a tightly contested podium. Calcagno fourth, Sam Halabi fifth in a 7-car class. In the G class, Jordan Simon will take the win with 3 laps over James Clemens. David Nissenbaum had to retire his car after 24 laps. In the GT5 class, John Haas takes the win over the team of Glickel and Katz. Margin at the line, 19 seconds actually. Sam Amano, our sole racer in the I class. Mamano finished this race 10th overall. Congratulations to him. In 911 Cup, Jason Nikic, 14 seconds over Donald Anger. That's your top 2. Dwayne Moses will round out the podium there. All those drivers finishing on the lead lap. Alex Farragut, Nate DeSantos finished 4th and 5th out of a 7-car class. Paul Amico, our sole racer in GT4 today, and Amico finishes 14th overall. And then as we continue to walk through, let me go back to another view here. We'll finish up here with the ME1 class, where Gene Raimondi takes the win over Frank Osborne. Unfortunately, Osborne retired his 2004 Boxster after just 38 laps. But that wraps up our first of 2 endurance races here today at Summit Point Raceway in the 2025 Rock the Summit. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more action in just a few moments with our Yellow Group Enduro with the big boys in just a few moments. Stay with us.
A household name in U.S. road racing for nearly 25 years, Toyo Tires has forged a reputation for winning, performance, and consistency. From the company's legendary Proxys RA1 to the 2-groove Proxys RR, they have a history of getting drivers to the winner's circle. Their quality and performance extends beyond the track, offering owners a full line of premium tires for coupes to Cayennes. They are proud to build many of the tires right here in the United States at their state-of-the-art factory in Bartow County, Georgia. We thank them for their support of Porsche Club of America through club racing and the high-performance driver education program. Be sure to check out their contingency program if you race SP1 or Spec Boxster. To learn more about the full line of Toyo tires, visit www.toyotires.com.
Stable Energies takes pride in offering racers the very best in motorsport performance and safety equipment since 1978. Owner Bob Kikasik has been a PCA member for over 35 years and started club racing with PCA during its very first season. Located in northern New Jersey, Stable Energies stocks a wide variety of racing gear and motorsport products from top-quality brands like O&P, Alpine Stars, Bell, Hans, Schroth, Paget, and Bray Kraus. Stable Energies is a master distributor for Recaro and the U.S. importer for safety devices roll cages, as well as the Eastern U.S. distributor for RSS Porsche Performance parts. You can shop with Stable Energies on their website, stableenergies.com. You can call and speak to a knowledgeable salesperson. They're happy to answer any of your questions. Or you can have one-on-one personal attention at their retail location just 10 minutes from New York City. PCA members receive special deals, so be sure to mention PCA Club Racing. Whether your fire system needs to be serviced, you need advice about a new race seater radio system, or you want to try on the coolest looking new driver suits, Stable Energies has yet covered.
Motion Control Suspension, or MCS, has proven to be the evolution of premium motorsports damper systems. Their team is continuously developing and refining damper technology that is vastly different from other manufacturers, developed through hands-on involvement in GT and touring car racing. While their roots are in the highest levels of professional sports car racing, their products excel in all environments, from enthusiastic street driving to autocross track days to club racing and far beyond. MCS is much more than just a great product. They have many years of practical racing experience, both on and off the track, extensive knowledge of vehicle dynamics, and an understanding of driver expectations and needs. MCS is proud to be a sponsor of Porsche Club Racing and invites you to lean on their expertise for setup support and consultation.
Partners of club racing for over 30 years, Eurosport Porsche Road and Race is a Porsche specialty shop with 2 locations in Illinois operating since 1984. Whether you have an early air-cooled car from the 60s or Porsche's newest cup car, we can provide all your service and parts needs. We are the one-stop shop for all of your Porsche repairs and race builds with a large inventory of Porsche parts and race gear.
Apex Racing Performance, premier racing outfitters, provides racing equipment and product support to motorsports enthusiasts. A member of PCA since 1991, Clark Hammerly and his wife Linda both hold competitive racing licenses and install, use, and test the equipment they sell. This enables them to provide unbiased technical assistance on installation and use of their products. From helmets and race apparel to personal cooling and fire systems, Apex Performance also stocks performance friction brake pads for all Porsche applications. They invite you to visit their showroom in Merle's Inlet, South Carolina. Shop online at www.apexperformance.net, call toll-free, or view their track schedule online. Mention PCA Club Racing to receive a discount on your next purchase.
Demon Speed Motorsports offers a full line of products for your race or track car. With their background in Porsche GT3 Cup cars, they bring the same quality and durability to the street and track replacement parts that they produce. These products include suspension links, motorsport-style center lock parts and kits, brake rotors, and wing uprights. Now, Good Arrow Wings and RacingTireWarmers.com are part of the Demon Speed family. With this, they now offer Good Arrow Wings with mounting solutions for most Porsche models. Racing Tire Warmers offer tire warmers to custom fit your race car to make you faster and safer on track. To learn more about Demon Speed Motorsports and see their great products, visit them at www.demonspeedmotorsports.com.
Trailix Trailer sets the standard for super lightweight, superior craftsmanship, and extraordinary quality. If you need a trailer, whether it be enclosed or open, to tow your Porsche, Trailix should be your first and only choice. Trailix has many sizes to fit your Porsche perfectly, and their unique touches ensure that your trailer will be as functional as it is beautiful. Trailix Trailers sponsors the Novice Racer Award, a gift certificate given to the second-time racer who exemplifies the club racing spirit.
Welcome back to Summit Point Raceway. It's the 2025 Rock the Summit presented by the Founders Region of the Porsche Club of America. That's PCA Potomac. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Brian Donati. And Brian, it has not been a long weekend, but we've got one long race to go. It's a 90-minute endurance race for the big boys, for the Cup cars and the GT4 cars, presented by Michelin Tire. Let's run down the starting order. Starting on pole today, driving the 014 2019 Cup car in the GTA 3 class, it's Corey Friedman. Joseph Viola will start on the outside of the front row. He's in the number 262 yellow and blue 2022 Cup car. That's an old 94. That's an old Cup 911. He's going to start on the outside of the front row there. The two yellow, blue, and black cars. Jeff Smith will start on the inside of row number 2, driving the number 924 GTC 6 class 2016 Cup car with John Coster in a 2015 Cup car that is also in the GTC 6 class. He's running the number 573. Then we got David Dunnigan. He's in the blue 2014 Cup car, also in GTC 6. He starts 5th. Starting 6th, Kerry Brown, also in GTC 6, in a white 2016 Cup car, and he will be driving the 707 machine. Driving the 751 car, it's a GTD 3 2024 Cayman GT4 RS Club Sport, driven by Chris Dooley, with Rami Farid starting right next to him, driving the number 53 GTD 2 Cayman Club Sport, and that's the blue and orange machine. Then we got Jonathan Draper in the number 62 car. He's in the GTC 6 class. He's got a 2015 blue and yellow Cup car, starting 10th outside of row number 5, driving the number 51 white 2014 Cayman in GTB 1. It's Mitch Bowling. Then we got Glenn Spiegler driving the GTC 7 blue and yellow 2018 Cup car. The 58 machine starts 11th, with David Felker starting 12th in the number 45 red, white, and blue American flag livery GT4 Cayman. He starts 12th. And we'll talk about some of the other racers, Brian, after we take the green flag as the starter looks over the field. And there it is, green flag in the air. Last race of Rock the Summit 2025 as they now make their way down into turn 1. Headlights ablazing like they have all weekend long. That's Corey Friedman. And he's got inside position on Joseph Viola, who's going to slot in right behind him and follow him right through turns 1 and 2. Then we've got Jeff Smith with the Red Bull car, the number 924 machine, slotting in the third. Coster, Dunnigan, Brown as they come down into turn number 3. A little bit further back, poking to the inside there, Brian, that was Rami Farid trying to make some moves coming down the inside into turn 3. He might have picked up a position or two there as they head down the hill into turn 5. It looks like he might have gotten around Chris Dooley and possibly Kerry Brown as well.
Yeah, I think he may have gotten right. There it is. It looks like he did make that move as they come out of turn 6 right there on the back bumper. I believe that is the 751 right there of Dooley. So it may not have gotten past him, but definitely on his back bumper, really got a good start with Rami Farid. I tell you what, Greg, Joseph Viola got that start with Corey Freeman down in the Joseph. Didn't want to give him as much room to move back to the driver's left. Tried to keep him pinned down there on driver's right, but Corey Freeman, the driver that he is, was able to get down in there, get through turn number 1, and be able to drive off of turn number 2. And now you can see he's opened up there by about 4 car lengths.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it was a good move by Viola to try to pin Friedman down onto the white line going into turn 3, making it very difficult to get the power down on that 2019 Cup car and be able to power out of turns 1 and 2. But Friedman managed to, under braking, go just that little bit deeper than Viola, and Viola had to concede the position.
Yeah. Greg, another shout out here, and we got this morning, but let's do it now. Let's give a shout out to Steve Wilson and basically everybody in the paddock. Right?
Almost.
This seems like just about everybody in the paddock. Unfortunately, Steve had that incident yesterday, I believe, with Charles Liu in the 79 machine. They were able to get Steve's car repaired. That front bumper and the fascia on the front, basically they took that off, did some back in the back, and I tell you what, the front bumper and the fascia back, is signed by every single individual that put a hand on that car during the repair last night. We've got some pictures where
Did you put a hand on the car, Brian?
Completely team effort there. I did not sign that, so I was not there for that one.
Yeah,
so.
and we should mention that Steve races with PMR Racing. He's in the 127 GT3 Cayman, and he was starting 17th in the field today, so just a little bit behind where we were when we got to the grid. Second year of PCA racing, and again the PMR team pulled together, as you said, Brian. Seemingly everybody in the paddock. It took over 10 hours to get that car back together. Not 10 hours. It took over 10 people to get the car together. If it was over 10 hours, they'd be still sitting in the paddock trying to get that thing together.
I was going to say, it would be still sitting there, and they would be still trying to piece all that together.
Yeah, exactly.
It may have felt like 10 hours to them,
and
right?
and that's kind of when we were talking to Eugene Basha in the last race. That is club racing at its finest, and it's what you expect, that you're competitive. And sometimes overly so out on the racetrack, but when the checkered flag flies and everybody's back in the paddock, you come together as a village, and the biggest fights that you have are the fights to get your competitors back on track so they can race against you the next day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You want to have competitors out on the racetrack. You don't want to, basically win something because you can't get that person out there. So it always makes it fun to do that. And you're right, Craig. That's what we talked about with Eugene. This is not only is this event getting bigger and bigger and bigger every single year, but the families, the helpers, the crew, everybody comes in and really literally puts a hand on a car at some point to get that car back out if there's an unfortunate incident during the weekend.
Well, I just love it because Steve's nickname is Big City, and I think they had basically every citizen in that city working on his car last night.
Yeah, good to see him out here. And again, this is another group here, Greg. We have, and again, only having 18 cars out on the racetrack, we have 11 different groups. So there is a lot of single cars.
11 different classes,
groups. Yeah, 11 different classes, and you've got the GTC 6 group. Or classes, they're 5 strong, right? So that's kind of the biggest one we have right now.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be watching that as our leaders currently in GTC 6, the team of Smith and Moses, with John Coster running in second position in that machine.
I'm getting a call. Maybe somebody put a couple tires off. Not really sure. Trying to hear the radio. So.
Yeah, all we got was static from that radio.
Yeah, well, I wasn't trying to.
Side. So, quickly here as early on, and we saw this yesterday. Corey Freeman in the GTA 3 class, really the class of the field here. Viola, who put that fight on early. Lapping about 0.6 of a second off of what Friedman's times are, but again, not a huge surprise there. The 2019 car has just been the class of the field, frankly, in the what was the Red Endurance Group over the course of the weekend here over Viola. So, but still very good, tight running. And as you said, I think Corey is our only driver in that class this weekend. Indeed, he is. He's our only GTA 3 racer. And in GTC 8, Viola is our only racer as well. He is unchallenged here today.
Yeah, again, when you this is another. Sorry about that. Having another technical issue up here at the with this radio, so we're gonna switch that back. But Greg, as I was talking about when you were talking about in the in the red group, only having 18 cars here, and we were talking about it in the last group as well, where that group can come down and it doesn't.
All right, Brian, and we've got a car coming down the pit lane now. Long before that, long before that 15-minute window opens, and he's very much off the pace. We'll try and get a number on it. It's one of the, I know this really narrows things down. It's one of the blue cars. And and I think, I'm not sure, but I think that might be Chip Santis in the GTC 4 machine. We'll try and get a beat on that in just a moment. Actually, where's that John Coster possibly? Coster's in the multicolored car. We'll try and, it's either Chip Santis in GTC 4 or John Coster in GTC 6 that's just brought a car down the pit lane. We'll try and pick that up here in just a moment. We'll get that verified. Indeed, it is Chip Santis in the number 16 GTC 4, the blue 2006 Cup car that's brought his car down the pit lane. We now have gotten confirmation of that here as take a look at some of these classes where we do have multiple racers, as Brian mentioned, GTC 6, where we've got 5 different racers today. The team of Smith and Moses has now opened up close to a 10-second advantage on John Coster, with the team of Dunnigan and Dubusman currently in 3rd position, about 3 seconds back from there. But let's see if we can pick up. I'm going to see if we can pick them up now coming down in the turn. I think they're probably coming into turn 5 now, Jordan. We'll see if we can grab. I want to try and get Coster in the multicolored 573. To Busman, he's in a blue Cup car, and then Kerry Brown in a white Cup car. All within about, I'd say about 3-4 car lengths of one another. I think
Smith there.
I think it's ahead of this battle. Oh yeah, actually,
that's Coster right there.
Yeah, there it is, right there. That's Coster, then Dunnigan, and then Brown behind, and that's the battle right now for 2nd in GTC 6. As taking a bit of a ride through the grass, Brian. I'm sure not what he wanted to do. Rami Farid in the GTD2 GT4 Club Sport machine, having to take to the grass. Don't think the other driver maybe saw he was there, and that just ahead of Farid, that is Kerry Brown in the white 707 GTC 6 machine, kind of cut down to the curbing, and that's Brian. That's one of the most difficult places to track a car that comes underneath you.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I noticed this yesterday in this group, especially in the red group, that a lot of those drivers would actually really try to cut that as close as they can. And as you said, if you've got somebody that's in front of you and they cut a little bit, you've got that product where it's going to be a problem. You're going to hit that curbing, and it's going to throw you kind of around a little bit. So
yeah, it throws you around a little bit, but if you're on the outside there, because of the way the track is profiled and cambered there, it switches right here from being on camber to flattening out and actually coming off camber at that corner right there.
Yep.
And you see it again as Farid decided to stick behind him, and and it's actually a great place to make passes when the driver ahead isn't expecting it. The problem is when the driver ahead isn't expecting it, he'll come and cut down on you to get to that apex.
Well, he definitely made the move right there in turn 10, because he definitely went down underneath Kerry Brown as well, going down. Made that move going into turn 10. I believe they may have had the Dunnigan machine in front of them, or not the Dunnigan machine in front of them. That may have been one of our other. May have been Michael Vetz on the 22 machine.
Yeah,
I think was coming down into turn 10, and basically Farid used that as kind of somewhat of the pick there. Yeah, that was definitely the Michael Vetz machine in that 22. Used him kind of as the pick for Rami Farid over Kerry Brown, and basically got really into turn number 10 and made that strong move work, because you see he's now opened up by about 3 or 4 car lengths over Kerry Brown in that 707 machine.
Yeah, it didn't take very long. Again, Vit's our sole racer in GTC 3 today. He is currently running 17th in the field. As with Rami Farid working his way through some of the GTC 6 machines there. A little bit of a gap now between Kerry Brown and the team of Dunnigan and DeBusman. Unfortunately, we don't know which driver is behind the wheel of the number 400 car at the moment. But the gap now opens up to about about 2.5 seconds between the 400 car and the 707 as Brown gave up a couple tenths there as Rami Farid worked his way through.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that now you've got Rami Farid kind of in between them as well, right? So not only do you have that second gap, but you got a car kind of in between there. So seems to be okay and have that gap. But Greg, what I was saying before, I ended up unfortunately having a couple technical issues up in here with the headset. Is that again, this is a group where we normally see during their pit stops, they normally change tires, which I do believe that pit window is now officially open. Well, actually, no, not yet. About another minute before it opens up. We're about 14 minutes in, so probably in another minute or so. But this is a group where you see sometimes they change tires, right? Especially on the larger tracks. We saw it a couple weeks ago with some of these drivers where they would come down at Road America. They would change tires with the crew and then send it out after that 5-minute pit stops. Here it's a little bit obviously a smaller racetrack. You may not see too much of tire changes, but you definitely will probably see some fuel changes.
With these cars, whereas a number of the cars in our previous endurance race could easily make it 90 minutes. I think the limit on a lot of these cars is approaching 60 minutes, maybe in that 55-minute range. So indeed, we'll see that. And as you mentioned, a lot of these racers, they will go to another set of tires to get through the race, as they do with the speeds that they're running. And, for example, up at the front of the field, Corey Friedman running in the low minute 14 range per lap. For a 2-mile lap of Summit Point, whereas the fastest racers in our previous Enduro were about 10 seconds off of that pace. But most of the Cup cars here do have center lock wheels, which, assuming you have the equipment to get it done, can make for a very quick tire change. You don't have, 6 studs or 6 different lug nuts that you have to unbolt and bolt back on for every single tire.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's that quick on-off with that center lug, you're right. But you can see here, we talked about it at the beginning, so there's Corey Freeman there. You can see kind of back down. This is where I think you'll see some of these drivers here. This is where they're going to really start to take care of the equipment. They're starting to settle in. Again, only really 17 drivers now on the racetrack. There's a lot of room here. When we had 35, right, you were constantly in traffic amongst the different groups, and I believe, is that Corey Friedman that just came down the pit lane?
Indeed, that is Corey Friedman, who pits in at almost the earliest opportunity with the pit window now being open for only about 1 minute and 15 seconds. So that's going to move Joseph Viola up to the lead. And we'll see if some of these other racers maybe do the same thing. As we saw in the previous endurance race, Brian, Robbie Wilson had to take advantage when he saw a lot of traffic ahead, that he dropped down to the pit lane rather than losing a lot of time having to fight through 6 cars that, like here, we're going side by side in the corners, and with the hope that he'd come back out into clear air and clear traffic. There's a much larger opportunity with this race to have that happen. Because there's so much less density, so many fewer cars. And so, if I was, for example, we were talking about Steve Garrison, where they did all the work on his car last night to get that machine back up and running. He's the trailing car here. If he's got good pace and he's making up ground on these cars ahead, it might not be a horrible idea for him to go and drop down to the pit lane.
And Greg, we were talking about Rami Farid. Well, he has just now come down the pit lane, but now his day is now done. He has made the right-hand turn back into the paddock. So it looks like this Enduro for that 53 machine is now over.
I wonder if perhaps something broke when he popped over that curbing over at turn 6.
Very well could be. Yeah, absolutely. Because he ended up going one more lap.
The curbing there is actually, the other big piece there. We know we got a bunch of dirt on the inside of that curbing, but that particular curb is also one of the tallest curbs here at Summit Point. And if you pop up in the air and the car drops down wrong, you could end up bending a tie rod and knocking the alignment out on that wheel pretty easily.
Yeah. Yep, that is a pretty big curb. I have myself personally witnessed and have felt not in a Legends car, something a little bit lower to the ground.
Okay,
have hit that curbing, and it does not feel well. So I can imagine what it does to, as you said, some of the underneath of some of these cars. So.
Yeah, and you can see here that most of these drivers, and it depends on how you enter turn 6A and 6B, but most drivers are not going to be taking a lot of curb there. But it's interesting, as we watch the cars come through this corner, Brian, as we were talking about passing opportunities there, if you notice, just as we watched Steve Garrison, the last car, come through there, you'll notice when you get to that apex, even if you don't hit the curbing, there's a lift in the track right there that will also push that inside, in many cases, push that inside car over to the left just a little bit. And that's why, another reason why when you have two cars go side by side through there, it becomes a very challenging proposition to make a pass there.
Yep. No,
or
absolutely.
to defend against the pass there, because you know that if you've got a car inside you, their car is gonna just get lifted over towards you, and so you want to give additional room, and that impacts your exit speed from that part of the complex.
Yeah, nobody wins that there, right?
No.
Just as you said, right? That is a no-win situation. It basically slows both of those cars down, because then you're fighting to get back in line quickly before you exit out of turn 9 to come up the hill, right? And that's another part of that racetrack, that if you clip that curbing just right, it's going to throw you all the way out for track out coming up the hill. That's going to slow your momentum down. And again, we've talked about this pretty much all weekend long, is you kind of want to make sure you're on the throttle as much as possible, and anything that will slow you down is definitely not going to be a good idea, especially when you're coming up to the fastest part of the racetrack.
All right, so we're watching right now a nice little fight, not necessarily in class. It's David Felker. He's in the red, white, and blue American flag liveried GT4 Cayman Club Sport. Just ran his fastest lap. He's got Jimmy Martin also in a Club Sport directly behind. And both of those racers... actually, I wanted to pull up the class that they are in, but don't believe they're running in the same class. Then we've got Steve Garrison sitting right behind him now, as Garrison managed to get around Keith Powell. Actually, I think it was a slower car that they were lapping. Keith Powell's about 15 seconds back from that group.
Yeah. He definitely had Coster going around them as well, through that. When they came off of turn 10, again, second place there in GTC 6, trying to catch that Jeff Smith machine, but he came on up through turn 10. They kind of held their line there, and Smith and Costner was able to kind of get over to the right, kind of go by them. So.
And actually, Brian, that is, and I think because one of the timing and scoring systems I have for some reason isn't picking up the GTD1 class, Felker and Martin, they are both in the GTD1 class, so the red, white, and blue car there, and the white machine directly behind. That at the moment is without a doubt the closest fight in class that we have, and it is because they are the only two racers in that class. That's the fight for the lead, and we may see what is essentially a 90-minute sprint in that class.
Yeah, that is true.
We'll definitely have to keep an eye on those two.
Yeah, I'm not seeing them in the class, or I'm not even seeing
Right,
Felker
well,
on the
that's-
listing right here. So
yeah,
and
exactly.
we do know
So-
that is who it is.
Yeah, so our race monitor feed isn't picking that up, Brian,
Yeah.
but our other feed is, and what we're using when you look at the ticker on the left hand side of your screen, you'll see the GTD 1 class listed, and that is there you go, that is made up of the number 45 machine of Felker and the 57 of Martin, the red, white, and blue car, and the white car directly behind.
Yeah.
Actually, now, yeah, correct. That's 911 that just got around them. And it looks like we got one car pulled alongside one of our slower machines, letting racers by. And I'm trying to see who that was, because the car's looking a little bit off the pace there.
Well, keep in mind, again, those two cars battled pretty much all weekend long, right? They were battling in the, in that red group, in that class. So again, two drivers that are accustomed to seeing each other pretty closely, right there, coming out of turn number 10. So again, you're right. That's going to be a product of, now it's when do you pit, right?
Right.
When do you end up
maybe
wanting
you
to pit
do
with
just
that?
follow the lead car. I mean, if they're still right together, and again, they don't have a lot of traffic ahead of them. Maybe you follow the leader right into the pit lane, or maybe if you feel you've got a little bit of pace, let the leader peel off. And if you've got open track ahead, see if you can put down one or two flyers, and maybe eke out 2-3 seconds, because that may be all you need when you come off the pit lane.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is going to be, and look, we saw that earlier on in our 911 Cup when we had Del Rey and Donald Anger as well, right? I mean, it's at what point do you get to the point where, let me save the car, let me just not battle it a much, come in, do my 5 minutes, relax a little bit, then go back out, because usually what ends up happening is when you do make that pit stop, the next time that other driver comes in, you're more than likely going to be right back in the same situation you were, so save it to the end of the race rather than the first 20 minutes of the race.
Well, as I think about this more also, Brian, because you brought up, with a lot of the cars in this group, and this may be the case for the GT4 cars as well, that they don't think they're going to be able to make it all on, necessarily all on one set of tires over the entire 90 minutes. Maybe one of these two drivers does.
Yeah.
And, if, sometimes you see the other, before you go out, you see the different teams and crews going up to the pit lane and setting up their tents. And if or you've heard over the radio that maybe the other team isn't planning on doing a tire change, maybe you go and try to force the other driver into some little additional tire wear.
Sure.
Early on in the race, so that the car isn't as strong when the minutes wind down. As we see here, our leader Joseph Viola going and coming up on on this pair right now.
Greg, the other thing I'm sitting here thinking, I'm wondering if Corey Freeman also has another problem. He's still sitting down on pit road, and he's been down there longer than 5 minutes. Because remember, he pitted in that 16, 17-minute mark. We're in the 26-minute mark, so that car may have had another issue.
We're showing him as being 8 laps down from Viola at this point, which is far beyond, I think, what the 5-minute pit stop would prescribe.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, not only having the problem with Rami Farid, but Corey Freeman as well in that GTA 3 machine having another problem. Or having a problem, not another problem, having a problem, because he was pretty dominant in our red group all weekend long. So still sitting, I can see him sitting down there on pit road. There's another car behind him that I can't really tell who that is as well. I don't believe
it might be the Garrison car.
Well, no, Garrison's a full black car, but there's another one just directly behind. I see Garrison's car down there, but there may be
Dooley possibly in the 751.
Could be, or that may be the Chip DeSantis still sitting down there on
the pit lane. Yeah.
So you can see Just to the left of the red one, you can see the two.
All right, so as Brian's having a little technical issue there, we'll continue to track here as we're coming up on just about a half hour into this 90-minute race. Tell you what, Jordan, let's do this. Let's take our break a couple moments early. That'll give the folks in the booth a little bit of time to resolve some of the technical issues. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back here in just a few moments. We've got 60 more minutes on the clock with our second and final endurance race of the day here from the 2025 Rock the Summit. We'll be right back. Located in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and serving the entire Washington, D.C. metro area for over 20 years, Europros Collision Center is a family-owned and operated business specializing in high-end European and Asian collision repair. Their owner, Derek Ford, and his team of highly trained certified technicians are dedicated to providing exceptional service and ensuring that your vehicle receives the highest level of care. As a certified collision center for Porsche, Audi, and Lexus, and accepting all major insurance coverage, Europros is well known for its expertise in luxury vehicles, utilizing state-of-the-art equipment and techniques in conjunction with OEM parts to ensure quality repairs and customer satisfaction, returning your vehicle to pre-accident condition. To find out more, visit them at europroscollisioncenter.com or call them at 301-977-7475. As a gold sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2025, Europros Collision Center is pleased to support PCA Club Racing and this premier annual event.
The Carrera of the Americas on November 22nd and 23rd at COTA in Austin, Texas is the final PCA Club race of the 2025 season. Hosted by the Hill Country, Lone Star, and Maverick regions, the Circuit of the Americas, a Formula One venue, is a 3.4-mile, 20-turn track and is one of the most challenging in the United States. There will be 2 race groups contesting for the final season points toward the 2025 PCA Club Racing National Point Series and the 2025 Mid-America Championship Series. This event is limited to just 100 racers. To market calendars for registration open October 6th at clubregistration.net.
Radial Tire Company is your trusted provider of high-quality, new tires, custom aftermarket wheels, and tire repair and maintenance services. We are dedicated to giving you the very best tire experience, focusing on upfront and honest quotes, timely response to issues, and quality products and parts. Since 1976, Radial Tire Company has provided the Washington, D.C. area, including Bethesda, Arlington, Washington, and surrounding areas with quality tires and the most exemplary service. We have earned a reputation as the premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tire and wheel applications, stocking tires from all top manufacturers for whatever you drive, from small economy cars to SUVs and trucks. Our mission is to assist you in getting the most out of your tires and car. For more information, visit radialtirecompany.com or call them at 301-585-2740. Radial Tire Company is pleased to provide gold-level sponsorship to this year's Rock the Summit 2025. Thank you to all the volunteers who make this year's event such a success. Welcome back to Summit Point Raceway, the 2025 Rock the Summit. It's Endurance Day here at the Point. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Brian Donati. He's back too now. And we've got just about an hour remaining in our final race of the weekend, Brian.
Yeah, I tell you what, evidently the computers are starting to run hot here as well. So, it's what happens, of course, during the course of a weekend. But, yeah, Greg, again, we've seen some really good action, and here it is. We're going to see this. This is that battle that we've been talking about.
GTD2.
Again, these guys have been going at it pretty much the entire weekend. But, again, you've got to I think that's one.
Yeah, one.
GTD1 with Falker and Martin. And Falker holding off Martin. Again, it's going to be interesting to see when they pit, right? Because they have not pitted yet either. Do they pit at the same time? I mean, does it mean that when Jimmy Martin sees Falker starting to make his move down towards pit road, does he decide, hey, let's go ahead and go in there as well and do it as a combo? Or does he say, you know what, let me just run another lap and then pit, because then I'm going to be just that much a little bit further, and then I got to work to catch up.
Well, Brian, that was that little sequence coming down into turn 1 is probably the most interesting thing I've seen so far. And Felker is starting to get somewhat defensive. And I don't think it's warranted at this point because Martin is probably as further back than he's been all race. He's got about a car length, 2 car lengths back. But we saw Felker come down center of track going into turn 10 before he moved over a little bit to driver's left. We also saw him defending a bit to the inside coming up into turn 3, and it didn't really look all that warranted, but what it has done is it has started, it started to compromise Felker's entrances to a couple corners, and it's gonna scrub, probably put a little bit extra load on those outside tires a little bit. The left tires going into turn 1, the right tires going into turn 3. The one good thing he did there is as he came down the hill, came down through the chute, he opened up that corner a ton, finished up the turn all the way at driver's left, which allows him to carry more speed down through turn 4, the fastest corner on the course. The problem is, though, he was set up all the way to the inside, and it's going to load up that inside rear tire to try and get the car rotated for the carousel.
Right, yep. And not only that, but it as a driver, Greg, and you know this, it throws it throws really what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? It throws it off, so it throws your consistency off. Trying to make those different changes that you need to make.
Yeah, indeed, and so we've got some faster traffic coming through that they may have to contend with now as well. But here you go. You can see coming here through the carousel where Felker takes the center of the track, whereas you've got Jimmy Martin taking that car all the way out to the curbing driver's left before this corner right here. And again, less load on the tires. Plus he's had the advantage if these GT4 cars, and we're not 100% certain that the GT4 cars will need to take fuel, but we think they likely will.
Yeah.
Knowing what I see in like Michelin Pilot Cup, the GT4 cars are usually getting about 55 minutes to 60 minutes on a fuel load. And that's with pro drivers that are doing fuel saving as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see these guys probably around the 47, 48 minute mark coming in for some fuel, actually getting pretty close right now. And so, again, a lot of factors I think at play with those 2 GTD1 entries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you mentioned there, Jeff Smith going around them as well, and I think they have that's the Wilson and the Mayer machine right now. Well, is that the Wilson Mayer machine? Well, there's the Wilson Mayer machine right there.
Yeah, I
think he was behind them.
Yeah,
and then got through, and now Jeff Smith got through, and then that's actually bringing in the 58 machine, Glenn Spiegler, in there as well.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, so Spiegler running in GTC 7, uncontested here today, the only driver in the endurance race in that class. And as you mentioned, the 129 machine of Wilson and Mayer, who just went through, they are currently running second overall. They are in the GT2 class, also in a Cayman, but in a much newer GT4 RS Club Sport version. It's a 2024 chassis on one of the 718 chassis versus the older machines that Felker and Martin are running, which are both 2016 machines based on the older 981 chassis.
Yeah. Martin giving up a lot of room there as they came out of turn number 10, headed down into the start-finish line. So now Felker's got about 6 car length lead as they went out of turn number 2. You can see Martin trying to close the gap here a little bit, but Spiegler got kind of in between them coming out of turn number 10, and Martin had to get kind of a little bit harder on the brakes, and that hurt his momentum down the front stretch. And then with Felker just in front, was able to pull away, but here they come again. Yeah,
and Felker carrying quite a bit more speed down through the chute and into turn 5, and you can see he's now made that margin disappear, and as he's right back to the rear of that car, and Brian, did we just see them come down the pit lane by any chance?
No, they're not.
No.
They're right
there they are,
out
coming
of
through turn
number
10. Yeah, missed
coming
them
down
for a second.
Yeah, coming down through turn 10, but again, they're still kind of saying there. It'd be interesting to see when they pit here. Again, 50-some minutes left to go, 52 minutes, 37 and a half minutes into this race. Again, that's the only really battle that we have kind of on the racetrack, and that actually is a battle in class, right? So that's
they're the only two racers in that class.
Yeah, so this is where the strategic part of this race comes into play here is I'm battling for class. I'm battling for position on the racetrack as well. When do I pit? When is he going to pit? And look, it goes back to what we talked about with Eugene Basha. They have spotters probably around the racetrack, one or two within the within the pit lane. Maybe they're together, right? Maybe they did paddock together. And again, we've talked about the family aspect of it and helping aspect of it. Maybe they're using where they're going to pit together. Martin, although looks like he is a little bit faster than Felker right now, doesn't look like he's really trying to get by him. Although right there, as soon as I say that, he takes that opposite line going through turn number 8.
Yeah, so Jimmy, who has won 3 national championships in PCA club racing, I don't want to say he's toying with Felker ahead, but one of the things here, as he comes right back up to the back of Felker, and I think he's now, Brian, he's gonna take a quick look to the inside. Felker's gonna move over to the right to cover just a little bit. And I don't think we're going to see Martin come very deep under the brakes, but even then, you see that it caused Felker to adjust his line into the corner. And there are just little things that I've been watching here. For example, as they come out of 2, going into 3, Felker, he turns in a little bit early, doesn't use all the track, and it does impact his exit speed out of turn 3. He has to yank the car back a little bit over the curbing there. And same story as he comes down through the chute, trying to carry as much speed through 5. It also inhibits his ability to get the car rotated for turn 6. And you can see where Felker enters turn 5 from almost the middle of the track. And it's I don't want to say it's a masterclass, but he's definitely causing Felker to overwork that car and run those tires down.
Right, yeah. Again, that'll be a product is when does Felker realize, hey, I got enough is enough, and no, I was going to say I thought maybe they were coming down pit road there as well.
Nope,
again, because there was that bigger gap. This time as Costner tries to go by again, going to go out to driver's right past him. Martin's going to get back in line behind Felker. I really thought maybe they were going to make that effort down into pit lane. Looks like Martin looks like he wanted to move over to driver's left there, or driver's right, excuse me, going down in. Thought maybe he was going to try to find or follow John Coster in through turn 1, but didn't, and ended up getting right back behind Felker.
Yeah, I think if anything, Felker does have an advantage, even though Felker's the lead car as he comes out of 10, and Martin might have a little bit better exit speed. Felker manages to open up a bit of a gap to Jimmy Martin on the front straight, and I don't know if we may see as they come into the braking zone where Martin is maybe getting his braking done a little bit earlier, getting back to the throttle a little bit sooner. But Felker always seems to open up maybe a car length and a half, 2 car lengths, that it's been difficult for Martin, even if he pops to the inside and once he hits that clean air and more or less a brick wall, just hasn't been able to even pull alongside the Felker machine.
Yeah. And they both get a really good run out of turn number 10. They get through, up over the hill pretty good, and they get, both out there. So this is where I think a little bit also as well is that Martin carries just a little bit more speed, and it tends to overdrive down into turn number 1 right there, just kind of trying to power through it. Oh, that was a good turn that time. Last time it seemed to be a little bit wider than I think he wanted to, but I think that was because they had that John Costner machine kind of going by them at that time anyway when they went down the front stretch. So. Joseph Viola getting ready to come back around on them as well. And again, with this battle, those drivers sitting in that 120, 122 mark, Joseph Viola doing lap times of 1:15. So definitely going to be able to go by them pretty quickly. It's going to be a matter of where does Viola get through and where does Martin let him go through, right? Because Martin's still trying to keep Felker, although we saw it the last time when Coster kind of came through that Martin had dropped back a little bit and then was able to, run back up to the back bumper of Felker.
Well, and I think Viola, he knows what the deal is, and so he's going to pick a period when he can get by both of these cars, as he just did coming up the hill, to cause as little upset to their race as possible.
Yeah.
And now he's gone, and these races, they don't have anything for, as you could see, for about 20, 30 seconds behind them. And once Viola disappears, they're going to have clean air ahead for quite some time as well.
Right.
All right, let's maybe we can check in with a couple of our other racers here, Brian, for a couple of seconds as well. Let's see. I'm trying to think who we can pop in on. Actually, why don't we follow these guys around that are just ahead of Joseph Viola, because I think we're going to see him pop up pretty soon. Again, most of these racers now have really started to stretch out, and there isn't even between different classes a lot of battles going on track here.
Yeah, I mean that's John Costa. That's your obviously that's second place in GTC 6.
Right.
But he's 22 seconds behind Jeff Smith, and then once Jeff Smith goes down on pit lane, then it looks like it's going to be Dwayne Moses that's going to come out and pick up the ride in that car. So again, 22 seconds there. Neither driver there has pitted as well. So look for those. A little bit back, that's 22 there of Michael Vitz in that GTC 3 machine. So everybody's starting to get, pretty much spread out here again, as we talked about, with several of the drivers already dropping out. Chip DeSantis, Rami Farid, I believe Chris Dooley has dropped out. I think they're on pit road, along with Corey Freeman. Steve Garrison, all that hard work as well. Looks like he has dropped out for the day. So again, only completing 17 laps for that. So those struggles continue.
Yeah, and look, these a lot of these cars that we're seeing in this group with these Cup cars a little bit higher strung than what we had in the Orange group before. Not that again, I think it's a huge challenge that we had a lot of older Cup cars in that previous group. It takes a lot to keep these machines running for a sprint race, let alone a 90-minute endurance race. And as we said, these although a lot of these cars, they are prepped and cared for by prep shops. A lot of the race cars that we have out here, they are maintained by the racers for the racers, and it's not their day job. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And they come. We talked to Eugene Basha. He comes home after a long day on the trading floor, and then he heads to the garage to work on the race car. After putting in a 12 or 13 hour work day, and then is trying to work on the race car, and it's tough, but it's part of being a club racer. Most of these racers, they are not pros.
Right, correct. Mm-hmm. Joseph Viola coming through here, getting ready to put a lap on John Coster right there. Coster, again, we talked about him a little bit during this Enduro again. So Viola starting to reel him in again.
So Brian, here's something interesting, and we've got a good friend of yours and mine, Mike Kelly, in the chat over on the PCA Potomac YouTube channel, and he's, I think there's a lot of validity to this, and maybe we should have Mike up in the booth for some of these races that we do. He says Corey Freeman, he's going to go out and run the first 15 minutes, and he's going to run the last 15 minutes since there's no one else in class. That way he gets both the class win and he gets the points for the class win. It doesn't have to run the full race. And that might be that's a pretty good strategy. Only puts 30 minutes of wear on the tires, 30 minutes of wear on him. He's probably just sitting back there chugging Gatorade right now, watching our stream, and and he'll come out. He'll come out when the time comes. Doesn't matter if he gets the overall win or if he finishes 18th. You know, as long as he gets the finish.
Yeah, as long as he. Yeah, exactly. Takes the green, takes the checkered. What's in between doesn't matter.
Exactly. That's what we tell ourselves every single race weekend that we call these things.
Not every weekend, every single day we get up.
That's right.
Always work for the first 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes, whatever happens in between, doesn't matter.
All right, we do have a driver coming down the pit lane now to take his pit stop, Brian.
I believe that is the 573 there. That is John Coster.
Coster, yeah.
And there's a couple other cars there as well, Greg, that have come down the pit lane. I can see them. I think maybe one of them could be Jonathan Draper in that 62 machine.
Okay.
Also, I believe that David Felker is doing his pit stop as well, because he has dropped back off that Jimmy Martin. I don't believe Jimmy Martin has made his pit stop yet.
No.
So Felker, again, only completing 31 laps. Martin completing 34 laps. So there's that 3 laps that we've talked about. In this group here, Greg, I think it's going to be that 3.5, almost 4 laps for that 5-minute pit stop that you make. So.
And Brian, I think actually one of those cars there, did you just say that and I just missed it, is it looks like David Felker did bring his car onto the pit lane.
Yeah, it is on pit lane right now. I can see that. And, I'm looking down through here, and here comes another car on pit lane as well, coming down through there. But I tell you what, Greg, it's like almost every car is pitting at the same time, and we actually have kind of and I don't want to say I'll say it a bottleneck, because you have Corey Freeman's car there. Then you have another car just to the left of him that actually can't get into his pit box. So they're almost, 2 tire, 3 tires in. It's almost, and this will make our director happy, it's almost like a NASCAR race where you only need to have 2 tires in the box there to complete the pit stop. So interesting on that call.
All right, well, we'll watch, because I think, although he hasn't dropped through the order, I think Jimmy Martin might have possibly come down the pit lane as well.
I think that may be the driver, Greg, that you talk about. And now look, there's another car coming out of turn 10 that may be actually the Martin car going through there. No, that's actually the 707 that just went by. So that's Kerry Brown. So I do believe you're right. I think Martin is on pit road, although we'll see here.
Yeah, and Brian, what did I say? That they were going to get maybe 50, 55 minutes from a fuel stop with a lot of these cars?
Exactly.
And like clockwork, they ran the cars till they were dry, and they're coming down the pit lane now.
Yeah, I think we have probably, other than the Corey Freeman and the car behind him, I think pretty much, 4, maybe 5 cars on the racetrack total. Right now. Jonathan Draper is out on the racetrack. I just saw him go by the start-finish line there, so he is still on the racetrack. I think one of them is the Dunnigan and the Busman machine that could be on pit road as well. I think Jimmy Martin is on pit road. Mitch Bowling may be on pit road as well. I think the Wilson and Mayer, there goes Viola. There's the 58 now coming down in there. That's Glenn Spiegler. So these cars, at the top here, Viola, Smith Moses, they have yet to, and Brown, they have yet to make theirs along with Spiegler. Costner is on pit road. So I think Costner, sitting there in 5th, is kind of the first car of the top 5 in the leaders is on pit road. I think so is everybody else. One car coming off of pit road now, and I do believe that is the 129. That's the Wilson and Mayer. So it could be that Mayer is in now, or it could be Wilson and there's that now. Not sure who's in there. There's a driver in there. I'm not sure who the driver is, but again, couple cars, double pitting in the box. So we'll see who that is. When they leave pit road, Greg, I'll give you that number. That actually may be the Jimmy Martin machine. I think they are in the same kind of pit box there with Corey Freeman. So obviously not being able to make that move because they're too wide on pit road here.
So that Corey Freeman strategy, great for him, not so much.
Not so much for Jimmy Martin. Again, we'll look and see, but I'm almost positive that is the Jimmy Martin car with the black and the white numbers on the white on the white club sport. But I tell you what, they're double pitting down there in that box. So.
Yeah, usually in Formula One, we hear double stacking. That's when one is in the box waiting for the other one to take service. You know, if that was Jimmy Martin's plan, he's got I don't know what about he's got about another 18 minutes to wait.
well, he's actually driver's left. So if you're looking down pit road and you can, we don't have a really good shot, but you can see where. So just to the right of there, they have the pit boxes. They have them lined out, right? You can see the canopies and the tents on the other side of the guardrail there is one of our cars is just now starting to leave. That's the Coster machine. But basically, they have pulled up side by side. So I think that is the Martin is pulled up side by side.
I don't know who you go to complain to because, and yeah, I think that's the deal because both of those cars are prepped by Autometrics.
Yep.
The problem is Corey Friedman is the vice president of Autometrics. So who do you go to?
He's not moving.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the executive suite right there. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, Viola on pit road as well. So yeah, you're exactly right. And who do you go and complain to?
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me, Mr. VP, can you move? Nope, not moving.
That's right. I want to talk to your boss.
There comes Martin now. So obviously Martin was just in front of Corey Friedman. So they moved in there. So there's another car. Again, they're both up white. So we'll pick that up. Here comes the Felker machine as well. So Martin is going to leave ahead of Felker. So they ended up where they were behind pretty much that entire first half of this race, Greg. Mm-hmm. Now Martin is going to be in front of Felker. Felker's going to have to work really hard. There you see Felker just now coming off pit road, and Martin, I believe, is just now going through turn 3 and up over the hill down into turn 4. So where they were nose to tail with Felker, now they're a big gap.
Yeah, huge change there.
So obviously Martin was pitting, as I said, in front of Corey Friedman. So he can't complain then.
No. Looks like he got what he needed. Oh, my. So Jonathan Draper just resets his personal best lap here in his GTC 6 2015 Cup car. Turns in a 1:18.712. And he's been pretty... Talk about being pretty consistent. Last 3 laps, Brian, a 1:18.767, a 1:18.830, and a 1:18.712. I mean, he's
that's pretty consistent right there.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's keeping through there. So yeah, absolutely. And here comes there's the Felker machine just now going through turn number 10 and headed down into turn number 1. And as I said, Martin has just now exited turn number 2 and heading up into turn number 3. So that's the big gap. So you're probably looking at about 12 and a half seconds difference between the two there in that class
huge
battle. Yeah, that's huge in that battle considering what we saw early on.
All right, so I'm trying to determine who we still have on the pit lane besides Corey Friedman, and I have to apologize, Brian, because my timing here has
it's
started
kind of
to give me
bounced
some
around.
problems.
And I know.
Oh,
and we have the 400 machine. That's the Dunnigan and DeBusman battle on track.
And he's trying to get it started and get it restarted. Brian, this is where I make that mention that, they're always fastest right before they let go. As that team had just turned in a 1:15.384 on the last lap, almost a full second and a half faster than the last 2 previous laps. But he's got that back underway.
Yeah, probably just readjusting the steering wheel, right? Well, let's do it right here, right? We don't need to do it on the pit lane. Let's just do it right here. So, hey, we're getting a good battle right here with the 129 and the 573. Along with, I don't know, is that Keith Powell? That's
Powell, I think.
In the 321 that's right behind them. Let's take a look there. It's kind of hard to get two cars the same. Mitch Bowling is the car in
black,
front. So that's the 322 machine. So yeah, that was Powell. That is Powell behind him. So. Still waiting for that the white one that was double parked. It's like one of the ones you want to make the announcement. I think he may have pulled out and I missed it. You may want to make the
no
announcement.
parking
Hey, you
in the
can't
yellow
park here.
zone.
Yeah, you cannot park double wide on pit lane here.
That's right. It's like the drop off lane at the airport, and you get towed if you're there for more than a couple minutes.
Yep.
There is no standing in the drop off zone.
Yep, that is true. All cars must be moving at all times.
Right.
We'll see. As you said, Greg, looking at timing, I don't believe the Smith and the Moses machine has pitted yet either.
No.
We've got about 32 minutes left. So I would venture to say Smith will probably be coming in, and then again, I would assume that is definitely going to be a driver change with Smith and Moses.
I keep expecting you to say Smith and Wesson. I guess it never happens.
Yeah, right. Smith and Moses. Smith and Awesome. That's kind of their new nickname. Smith and Awesome.
That's right. So I love this. As we were looking at that 400 car driven by David Dunnigan and DeBusman, as we see what all of these drivers do when they're not at the racetrack. David Dunnigan, he's been racing with PCA for 15 years now, Brian. He's retired. He said he's a retired entrepreneur. What does he do when he's not racing? Golf. So maybe that was what the deal was. The car pulled over. He goes, hey, maybe I'll just get out here and practice my putting or something from the outside of 6B.
Picking up the golf ball there that's in the rough.
Yeah,
right?
you could fit a couple clubs in the front there.
Sure. Yep. Again, still quite a bit. Glenn Spiegler down there on pit road as well, completing his stop. So I think the last car, Greg, to make their last pit stop will be Smith, Jeff Smith. And there he goes right up in through turn number 3. So trying to get as much room as he can. I'd be surprised if he goes longer than 60 minutes here.
Yeah,
that's really what he's
I was going to say, I thought he'd be right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been maybe doing some fuel savings. Smith, who started this race third overall, he started as the pole sitter in GTC 6. And, of course, he is leading the class currently in his 2016 Cup car. And, I would say he's had the advantage of being able to draft off of a couple cars up front that's maybe helped him with fuel savings, but we would expect him to bring that car on the pit lane very soon. And there you go. Onto the pit lane he comes for service, where he should be turning that car over, we think, to Dwayne Moses.
Yeah, do believe it could be Dwayne Moses getting into that car. But, looking at lap times over, the course of the race here, Greg, it definitely, starts out kind of even all the way across the board. And then as we got into the later laps here, almost 3-4 seconds off of where he was. So, again, really doing some fuel conservation right there to get to that 30 minutes left to go. We got a waving yellow down into turn number 1 here. We'll see whether or not we've got a car that may have pulled off. Maybe just right out of our camera view. I don't see anything on the exit of 1 and 2.
Okay.
So we'll have to see.
Maybe. Well, with the waving yellow, that implies that he's still on the track surface.
Yeah, Greg, we've got a couple cars that have gone down there and really hard on the brakes. So I think maybe, again, right outside of our view.
Yeah, and we could see there that the team, they're continuing to wave the flags and being told to wave faster, wave faster.
Well, I think we've got a car that's sitting on the kind of right on the edge there. So if you can see here, they're basically coming to a stop. When the cars go through there, Spiegler was a little bit faster. We'll see whether or not they've continued through there. We've got one car there, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, we've seen a couple cars where they came down. It was almost to a complete stop. Now we've got a standing yellow, so it looks like whoever that is down there is starting to, got it off the pavement and starting to move, and we'll try to see if we can't get something through there. But we'll keep an eye on that, see who pops out of there. But now we're standing, so that means they're off of the racing surface.
All right, so we do have, actually, we were under 30 minutes remaining, Brian. So let's do this. Let's take our final break of the day, and we'll see if we can get some more information on what car or cars are involved there, just out of our view. But you're watching the 2025 Rock the Summit, our endurance race presented by Michelin here at Summit Point Raceway. We'll be back in just a few moments to take you all the way to the checkered flag. Decision Technologies' experienced team of engineering and management specialists have significantly contributed to a wide array of crucial Department of Defense initiatives. Our streamlined management structures flexibly respond to customer requirements. Decision Technologies is driven by the foresight and knowledge required to advance the technical capabilities of our clients and help the nation succeed in most critical missions. Using a total systems approach, Decision Technologies provides high-quality, cost-effective technical support services. Decision Technologies' capabilities include system performance assessment, requirements definition, design trade studies, system architecture analysis, cost schedule trade studies, risk assessment, and operational evaluation. We match our capabilities to the needs of our customers. To see if they're a match for you, visit decision-tech.com. As a platinum sponsor, Decision Technologies is proud to support Rock the Summit 2025, the PCA Potomac Founders Region Club Race. We thank the 100-plus volunteers, the event planning team, and all the racers for this year's event.
Get ready for Rocky Mountain Thunder, the PCA race at High Plains Raceway in Colorado on September 20th and 21st. Rocky Mountain Region hosted the very first PCA club race in 1992 at Second Creek Racetrack, and the members of the Rocky Mountain Region take pride in this historic event. The region has run the race at Second Creek, at Pueblo Motorsports Park, and now at High Plains Raceway. This race will earn points towards the 2025 Mid-America Series, the 2025 West Coast Series, as well as the 2025 PCA National Championship Points Series. The race weekend will feature two 30-minute sprint races on Saturday and a 65-minute endurance race on Sunday. Registration can be found at clubregistration.net.
Fitzwater and Dean PLC is an accounting firm which dates back to 1954. We're proud that a number of clients who began with us over 50 years ago remain with us today, and we're equally proud that our business constantly grows with new clients. Our goal with all of our clients is to serve them for the next 50 years because we value relationships. We view every client relationship as a partnership and recognize that our success is a result of our clients' successes. Fitzwater and Dean are proud to be a gold-level sponsor helping support live streaming for PCA Club Racing, the first in the nation to do so. We thank all of the racers, crew, and their families, volunteers and spectators both at the track and now with live streaming, watching from around the world. Welcome back to Summit Point. The 2025 Rock the Summit is winding down, Brian. We've got less than 25 minutes remaining in this 90-minute endurance race, our final race of the weekend here from Summit Point.
Yeah, I tell you what, Greg, we're still trying to determine which car is down in turn number one. We have yet to see anything come down. They did send the emergency vehicle down there to pull it up. Looking at timing and scoring, and then looking at the cars that are coming across the start-finish line, as I believe the Jeff Smith and the Dwayne Moses machine now is back out on the racetrack just coming off pit road. I'm not seeing anybody that has gone by that was not on the racetrack before.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure right there that,
maybe somebody decided to take their Cayenne out for a couple laps or something. And I mean, the charity laps were on Saturday, mind you.
Yesterday, yep.
I was going to say, I hadn't seen any cars dropping in timing and scoring either after that, so I don't know what to tell you.
There's Viola, so let's just start writing these numbers down. We go through and we'll give you the process of elimination.
I mean, the only things I could think of at this point is, I'd like to track where David Felker is, because and if he's not still on the pit lane, because I'm showing that he's only completed 41 laps at this point.
Well, he is back out on the racetrack.
Okay.
And I do believe he is
because
just
Felker's the last of all of our running cars at this moment.
He is just now coming out of turn 2 and headed up into turn number 3.
Yeah, there he is, yeah. I mean, it's hard to miss that car.
Yeah.
But he's currently showing as the last driver currently running on course.
Mm-hmm. It's not the Dunnigan and DeBusman because they just went by. So, and again, still have that standing yellow down there. So we're going to do process of elimination. I'm writing the numbers down. There goes Costner now past the start-finish line. There's Martin, the 57. I'm wondering if it's the Mitch. Could it be the Mitch Bowling car that's down there? I've not seen Mitch come by.
And we're showing Bowling as being.
Well, no, Bowling just went through the carousel right there.
I'm still looking at maybe Jonathan Draper in the GTC 6, the blue and yellow 991 Cup car. We'll have to see if we can track him as well.
Draper in the 62 machine is actually a white car. It's not blue.
Okay. Well, that would explain my issue in tracking him down.
Correct. The 62 is not a blue, and Draper is, I believe, a white with the 62. Doesn't have the number on the door.
On door, you said it was on the windows.
Yeah,
right.
So, and again, there goes Viola now, just leaving pit road. So, it's definitely not him. Let's see. The only other car that I'm missing.
Well, we've got the local caution down now at 1, so they have gotten that car out of the way.
Well, they're coming up through the road through the trees there, so we'll see.
Okay.
At least I can see the start.
George, can we switch over to the camera coming towards turn 3?
Yeah, they're coming through the woods.
Oh, got it.
And so, and as a matter of fact, that may be the Draper machine. It's a white car that's behind them, so I can't see until they get up here. But we'll do it. But it may be. I think that could be the Jonathan Draper machine that's down there. So.
Oh, gosh. So when you said they're pulling them through the woods, they're pulling them through basically the path that's on the island going down the 1?
Correct.
Oh my.
Yeah. So we're pulling them down through there, and I do believe that is the Draper machine.
Oh, that was a heck of an exit then for that car because they had to get it over a berm to get it where it is.
Well,
maybe it was a Cayenne.
Well, you get right. If not, it is now. Yeah. So now you can go through there, and when you get to the exit or kind of the center of the apex, it flattens out on the grass there, so you can pull it on there. Although it's not the right way to do it from there, but to keep the action moving, keep the racers going, that is kind of the right way to do it through there. We're still waiting for them to come through the gate, but I'm almost positive at this point now, just because I see the numbers in the upper right-hand corner of the window, I do believe that could be the 62 machine.
Yeah, because I was going to say, Brian, based on how they were pulling it back, it could have been one of those Dakar edition 911s. But I thought we had most of the 911s in a Cup car.
Yep, it is definitely Jonathan Draper.
Jonathan Draper. Okay, Got it. Now and we're showing him now has only completed 41 laps, so that makes sense. All right, so the GTC 6 entry now, he is done. The combination of Smith and Moses continues to lead that class with Jonathan Coster running in second, and then the team of Dunnigan and DuBusman. You have to wonder, Brian, if the 400 car didn't have that little moment over by turn 6, sitting on the side of the road there, taking putting practice. If perhaps they would have had a chance there, because the gap between Coster and Dunnigan and DeBusman is only about 50 seconds.
Yeah.
And that car was stationary
for about
certainly
20,
for over half a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say 20, 25 seconds more, probably a little bit more than that. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, most definitely that could have definitely been a pretty close battle there for second in that GTC 6.
All right, we are at 18 minutes 45 seconds remaining. That means 3 minutes and 45 seconds before we have Corey Friedman rejoin us.
Hopefully, but yeah, I mean everybody else is pitted, right? So there's no other cars unless you absolutely have to make a pit stop. And I think if you have to make a pit stop at this point, it's for certain, for something going on with the car.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and at this point, since they've already all taken their 5-minute pit stops, they can come down the pit lane if they need. At this point, there's nothing stopping them from taking a second pit stop before they come out. The one major piece is that in order to get points for the finish, Brian, you have to be running and you have to cross the checkered flag at the end. You can't finish your race off on the pit lane.
Yeah, you know what, Greg? We did see that earlier in the group before. So we had one of our cars that was sitting on pit lane because of a mechanical issue pretty much the second half of the race, and then ended up coming out. And as the checkered flag wave pulled off the pit lane and ended up crossing the start-finish line on the racetrack. So again, that's a product of you've got to cross the start-finish line when the checkered flag waves.
All right, here as time is winding down, and we're just watching our overall leader, Joseph Viola, driving the number 262 GTC 8 2022 Cup car, as he has now just cleared our leader in GTD 1, and that being Jimmy Martin.
Oh, Martin's in the GTD 2 class, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I keep saying, I keep giving them the wrong class because I don't have it listed in this one timing system.
Class listed,
Yeah.
I think there is only the two. I think it's him and it's Jimmy Martin and Felker are in that class together. Everybody else is kind of in between, other than our GTC 6.
Well, in GTB 1, we had Mitch Bowling and Keith Powell. Powell being 6 laps down at the moment. And I think that and GTC 6 and GTD 2, the only 3 classes where we had multiple competitors.
Yep.
Still think it would be neat to see a Dakar Edition 911 out here racing at Summit Point on those big knobby tires.
Hey, we've seen it in solo, right?
Yes, we have.
I think we saw that earlier in the year when we were at Sebring.
That's right.
I believe our first event of the year, and I believe the 322 is on pit road.
Okay.
Maybe coming back out, or is he making the right? Nope, he's definitely coming back out.
All right, so that's Powell.
that is the 127.
There. Garrison.
So that is Garrison coming back out for the last 15 minutes of this race. So they were down there doing some work. I could see it, and I think
making some adjustments to the front of the car there. That after they had done all the work last night, you take a couple curbs. You move the car around, jostles around. Some of the handiwork might have come a little loose.
Well, remember, he's the only driver in GT3?
Correct.
GT3.
Yes,
so
GT3.
Again, that's that first 15 minutes. Come back out, finish the last 15 minutes, and now I see Corey Freeman's door open. So
there you go. He's getting ready.
He could be climbing back in to finish his last 15 minutes.
Got lunch.
Sure.
And now he's getting ready to head back out there. Yeah, and he's like I said, at this point, he doesn't have to be out at the 15-minute mark. He can go out with 10 seconds remaining if he wants.
As long as he takes the checker flag before the last car crosses, then
he'll be fine.
Or he could be the last car that crosses. So, as you mentioned earlier on, as soon as you come out of the pits, you're going to go right to the start-finish line. And as a matter of fact, here comes Corey now. So
look at that
coming out on. He's going to get 14 minutes of racing.
There you go.
Going to come out. There he goes. He's just now coming out of the pit road. Starts crossing
headlights
the start-finish line. Yep. Well, got to keep your safety. Got to let your drivers know. And he's got a big, and I'm going to say this, he's got a big little gaggle of cars behind him there, with that first car going to come up on him as Felker. And they're going to come in at speed there with Mitch Bowling right behind him. There's the Garrison machine.
Yeah.
And then you've got Jeff Smith. And then the 129, I believe that may be Mayer in that car now.
Yeah, and so, Viola, it's going to take maybe a lap and a half to get the tires up to temperature. But given what we saw at the start of this race when he came from the pole and was already lapping about 3 seconds a lap faster than some of the GT4 cars that are directly behind him, I don't think they're gonna have an issue running up onto the back of the Friedman car.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you can clearly see it here. Is when he came out, you had Felker that was kind of bearing down on him going into turn number 1, but that's since opened up, right? And that's been the dominant car that is again in that GTA 3 machine. So, and then we got Costner going a little bit wide in there between 5 and 6. Well, actually 6 and 6A is what we like to call here, Greg. But really pushing the issue there, getting over there in the dirt, getting 2 left side tires over there.
Yeah, and at this point, Brian, it's noontime. Well, a little bit after noon. The sun is high in the sky, and that portion of the track, probably more so than any other piece of pavement here on Summit Point's 2-mile circuit, gets very, very greasy.
Yes.
And the car will just continue to push, understeer, and understeer more and more once you turn in there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're almost having to wait. In some cases, especially in these cars, you're actually, when you get into 6, right, you come out of 5, you get on, half throttle in between 5 and 6 right there, if that, and then you're letting the car roll through the corners. If you get on it too much, that's a product of what can happen.
Yeah, the nose will push out a little bit there, and you end up having to almost diamond that portion of the course off.
Yeah.
And so that the car you don't have to make it rotate through this little section here. But you can see towards the end, actually, the trailing car, and I think that was was that the Osborne car, or probably the Garrison car.
Garrison car right there,
coming through there. Is it also you could see the nose kind of letting go a little bit there as they came through. And that's the reason why more and more of those cars now are working their way all the way out to the curbing on driver's left, so that they don't have to dial in a lot of steering input to the cars.
Right. Garrison's car's got all those signatures on there too, so that could be weighing down the front of that car with all the hands that were
weighing him down with expectations, Brian, of all the people that worked on his car last night.
Had everybody come down over the pit lane, thanking him, saying, "Hey, let's come sit down in here. We'll have our party in the morning or the midday here. We'll do it on pit road."
Oh, that's cool.
No, I don't know if that's what happened.
If that's what they said, but well.
That's what I'm saying, right? That would make
all I
sense.
can say is, Mr. Garrison, don't get too close to the car ahead of you right now. Don't think these guys want to have to replace a second nose this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, a little too wide action right there. That's Costner, and I believe that may be the Mayer machine in the 129.
Yep.
So again, and again, that's a power move, and again, that with Costner in that GTC6 over that GT2 machine, that's a pretty big power move. It's kind of a low percentage. We've talked about that many times here, trying to get down inside there, but Mayer giving him the room that he needed in order to get through there. But that could have been too wide through there. Could have definitely interrupted both of their entrances into turn 5.
Well, if there's one thing that we are seeing, Brian, is that there is at least one driver there with now under 10 minutes to go that is still driving like it was lap number 1, as we see him put a couple cars behind him going into turn number 1 there. And he is, look, we saw where he got very loose down in turn 5 as the track is starting to go away. But he is not letting out of the throttle one bit around here now, even though he's only got maybe 7-8 laps remaining.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, still 3 seconds off of, kind of his fastest time, but you look at the averages of what he is, or what he's been doing. He's kind of been in that, that 118, 117, 119 range for quite a long time. He did have one lap that was in the 122s, and that's because he was in heavy traffic, right? So that was fighting to get back through there. Once he's got through there, we'll take a look and see what some of his lap times, like I said last time, by 118.3 as opposed to his 115 that he ran on lap number 30. So
yeah.
Same thing with Joseph Viola, right? So Joseph Viola in that 262 in that GTC 8 machine, you look at his fastest lap time was 1:13.694. That was on lap 8. Here at lap 59, kind of 2 seconds off the pace. And when I go back and look at the averages of his lap times, other than when he made his pit stop, which is pretty much lap 47, 48. time frame, kind of been consistent all the way across the board in those mid 115s to 116 as well. So, and he seems every other lap kind of running into a little bit of the traffic, so kind of fighting that a little bit as well.
All right, here as time is running down, and let's go and we'll break things down here with the classes that we have multiple racers in GTC 6. It is the team of Smith and Moses, currently your leaders. They've got about 8.5 seconds on John Coster at the moment, Brian, as the Smith and Moses car just now crosses the line. We'll see Coster come across here in just a few moments. Do we have a car off on the outside on the front straight, Brian?
No, I don't see one. That's,
okay.
Yeah, no, I do know that I got a report down in turn number 5 that the 400 machine, I believe that probably debusman in there went off.
Yeah.
But it was able to continue. But
okay.
Yeah, no, there's not a.
All right,
not a car there. I know you look up the hill, yeah.
And I thought I saw. It looked like there was a car that was stationary over there. So Coster, I mean, look, Coster is continuing to push that machine, in the hopes of getting to the Smith Moses car, and right now he's lapping over 2 seconds a lap faster than Smith and Moses. I just, with the amount of time coming in, so there's a reason for him to really be pushing that car. But I don't think there's enough time to get there. That being said, I've been in a position with 1 lap to go where a car will break down right in front of me and gift me the win. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's a reason there that John Coster is running that car till the checkered flag.
Well, I tell you what, you're going to see that gap's going to be even closer now. It's going to be 3.7 seconds here. Is now Moses just now going down into turn 1, Coster just now entering into turn 1. So that gap at 3.7 seconds, you're right, Greg, that's really going to be kind of a battle.
It's going to be close.
I think, Moses was kind of in some heavy traffic there a little bit, where Coster's now going to be able to do it and go through it as well. But he hit it at the right time, so he was able to get through some of that. There they go over the hill down in turn 4.
And Brian, as I'm looking, and this might help John Coster quite a bit. Joseph Viola is currently running about 4 seconds. He's off of his fastest lap times today. He's dialed the pace back considerably to get the car to the end, and he doesn't see a need to really overburden that chassis. And because of that, I mean, it may give Coster an extra lap to try and make the pass here. So we'll see. As he's definitely coming, as you said, that last time through. It was about 3 seconds to the good for John Coster.
Right. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. There they go down the start-finish line. There is the Moses machine going down into turn 1 right there. The next car that is going to be behind him now, that is the Coster machine. So that is definitely it moved up a little bit back down from that 3.7 second gap, Greg, to the 4.7, and that reason is because they were trying to get around some of the slower cars there with Michael Vitz, and then they were right in between with Jimmy Martin and Mitch Poling as well. So.
All right, so 4 minutes remaining now on the clock here, and we are watching what is, I think, given that GTD2 battle has wound down during our pit stop cycles, and GTB1 with Keith Powell retiring early. Just this GTC 6 fight, it is the fight. It is the one between Dwayne Moses, we believe, behind the wheel of the 924 machine, and John Coster in the 573.
Yeah, no.
They don't have any with the debusman car having now 2 issues down in the carousel. Not a real issue there, is the busman now probably good minute and a half back from Moses and Coster again knocks this time about a second and a half off of the lead, as we've got a local caution down at 1. It looks like, Brian, and
May have been something quick. I'm not seeing out the window. I'm not seeing the flag of it.
Okay,
May
so
have
they
been
pulled
something
it
pretty
back.
quickly. I think they probably like put it up real quick and pulled it back, but definitely
got it.
I see the move over flag. I think that's what we're seeing. They just flashed it again when you got Viola and that coming through there. So
yeah, that blue and yellow flag, more informational. This isn't Formula One. You don't have 4 turns to let a faster car through. It's essentially just information to let you know that there's faster moving cars on track coming up on you very quickly, that you should be aware that that's coming. And it looks like John Coster is definitely coming, as he was just about to head up the hill.
And we'll pick them up. It's just now coming out of turn 10, headed down towards the start-finish line now, heading down there. So again, that gap now, Greg, that's 1.6 seconds, so almost taken 3/4 of that lead out for that, for that GTC6 lead over the last 2 laps. And this is definitely going to be a battle when we get down into turn number 5, because it is now not within seconds, Greg. It is actually within car lengths as they top the hill out of 3, head down into turn 5. Moses is going to lead by about 4 or 5 car lengths.
All right, so as now with a minute 22, or minute 20 on the clock, there is Joseph Viola coming through turn 1. He's got the Friedman car very close behind, but at the moment, Joseph Viola, he is your overall leader. Brian, we think he's likely on his last lap right now. As time is running down.
Yeah, when they come by, here comes the Coster machine, and I tell you what, Greg, he is on the back bumper of Dwayne Moses.
Okay,
and they're getting the one to go right there. So I think the next time we see Viola come out and cross the start finish line, he could be getting the checkered flag. So that's
what I'm thinking is we're watching him come through the
right
carousel now.
Yep.
And Friedman, who of course is about 60 minutes down to Joseph Viola right now, is trying to work his way through traffic. He's not going to do anything to upset some of these other races on track on what is the very last lap here. So we'll watch as our leader Joseph Viola comes to the line. Viola will take the win in GTC 8. There you go, flashing the lights, checkered flag in the air. Corey Friedman second to take the checkered flag, but a little bit further back than that on track after taking a lunch break. But as we watch this GTC 6 fight,
well, it may not be about. Sorry, Greg. It may not be a battle. Costner got through him by turn number 2, and basically it pulled already by 3.5, 4 car lengths. And here they come now at a turn number 10, going to be starting down the start finish line, and here it is. It's going to be within 20 car lengths with Costner and that.
Wow.
That's the Mitch Bowling car that pulled out to take the checkered flag from
there you go, at the last moment. All right, so taking the win in GTC 6 on the last lap, getting by Dwayne Moses, John Coster, your winner. Moses and Smith will finish second. David Dunnigan and Peter DeBusman will bring the number 400 car home in third, with Kerry Brown finishing in fourth, Jonathan Draper finishing in fifth. And I'll tell you, that GTC 6 battle, Brian, I think when Dunnigan and DeBusman crossed, actually I think they've already crossed the line, they finished a lap down from the leaders, and that was over 90 minutes time, a great fight between those two racers. So let's take a look. I think it's going to be easier for us I'll give you GTB1, where Mitch Bowling took the win, 17 laps up on Keith Powell, and in GTD1, Jimmy Martin 4 laps up on David Felker. But let's take a look here. I think it'll just be easier, given all the single car classes, to run down everything here by just the overall order. Taking the overall win, Joseph Viola in his GTC 8 Cup car with John Coster taking that win in GTC 6, finishes second overall, with the team of Smith and Moses finishing third overall. Dunnigan and DeBusman fourth, Kerry Brown fifth. The team of Wilson and Mayer taking the GT2 win in their Cayman GT4 RS Club Sport. They'll finish sixth overall. Glenn Spiegler, our sole racer in GTC 7. Jimmy Martin, as we mentioned, our GTD1 winner. He'll finish eighth overall. Mitch Bowling with the GTB1 win will finish ninth overall. And David Felker finishing second in GTD1 rounds out your top 10. So, Brian, that's going to wrap things up here from Summit Point Raceway. As you can see here, our next broadcast got a couple months off, got some time for you and I to recoup. It's going to be November 22nd and 23rd from the home of the United States Formula One Grand Prix, the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Make sure to join us for that. And as we wrap up, want to thank some great folks here this weekend, Brian. Our race chair from PCA Potomac region, Allie Conley, with co-chair Glenn Wolthius, our registrar Donna Amico, and of course there were the great folks with the Aaron Levitas Foundation, our volunteer coordinator Lauren Tilton, also Flag Marshal Len Darris, and our good friend, the Assistant Flag Marshal Mark Hillier, as well. And also want to, of course, thank our race stewards this weekend, Vicky Earnshaw and David Hodges, and then the great folks in timing and scoring who have helped us all weekend long, headed up by Roland Neves. Any last thoughts before we wrap things up, Brian?
Yeah, no, Greg, another great event here. This is our second year doing this. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, when we talk to Eugene today, again, it's all about family, not only from drivers and crews and teams, but, the workers that really make this happen. Again, we've said this many, many times, you and I both. We're not here without them, right? So actually nobody's here without them. So, can't thank them enough for coming in and helping out with the volunteers. It's a big part of it. If you're a driver and you can hear the sound of my voice, thank a worker, thank a volunteer, because, again, without them, you're not on track here. So another great product of racing here, Greg. So looking forward to Circuit of Americas, looking down at COTA, and, we'll see everybody here in November.
That's right. All right. So for Brian Donati, for Jordan Worth, our amazing director, for Brendan Kazmarek from Driver's Eye Live, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we'll see you in November.